Dear colleagues, good morning and welcome to the second day of our International Agribusiness Forum, Situation and Prospects of the Apple Value Chain in Georgia. So yesterday we have started the forum with very fruitful discussions around the current situation of the Apple Value Chain in Georgia, the key challenges and opportunities that exist in the market, and the strategies that could be implemented through the private and public sector partnerships. So today we are deepening our conversation and we will look into the gaps and opportunities in producing apples in Georgia with the best EU standards, with sustainability concerns, as well as future strategies for putting more value in production. So for the first panel today on producing Georgian apples with the best EU Green Deal standards, I'd like to give the word to Mr. Vano Grigolashvili, Chairman of RDFG, for moderating the session. Vano, please.
Thank you very much. მოგესალმებით მეგობრებო, ქართულ ვერსიაში მართალია საინტერესო სახელი მიწერია, მაგრამ ვანგას თვისებები არა მაგის შესაბამისად. მე ვარ ვანო გრიგოლაშვილი, სამხარეო განვითარების ასოციაციის ხელმძღვანელი RDFG-ის. დღეს ჩვენ ესე ვთქვათ, გვექნება საშუალება გავეცნოთ რამდენიმე პრეზენტატორს. პირველს ვთხოვ ჟან სებასტიან ბერგერს დალივალიდან წარმოადგინოს თავისი პრეზენტაცია. ჟან, floor is yours.
Hello everybody, do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I had a little issue yesterday. I thought I sent my presentation. I just seen in my mailbox that it was not the case. I resend it. I don't know if you have the time to open it for me, or if I have a way to share it via my own computer.
Actually, you should have access to share your presentation from your PC.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
You have it?
Yep.
Okay, very good. So Dalival Nursery has three main activities in France, in Europe, and in the world. First and heart of our business is the nursery. So we have budwoods, we have rootstocks, and budwoods and rootstocks are cultivated to produce trees. We cultivate 1-year-old trees, 2-year-old trees on pepin fruit, apples, and pear, but also on stone fruits. This is our main activities and where we make most part of our turnover. Another part of our activity is the orchards. You will see it later, but we are apple producers and a little part of pear production. We have more or less 80 hectares of orchards in France, located in Angers and in Villers-Cotterêts. Less than 2 hours driving from Paris, and this is also our way to be involved in the apple business. And our last activity, and not the smallest, is breeding. We have a big research center, a company named IFO. For which the topic is creation, experimentation, and development of new varieties and rootstock of apple, pears, and also stone fruits. So as I told you, our main job is nursery, mainly on apple trees, but we also grow stone fruits and little apple for ciders. And juice. If we have to give some key figures about research and development of pip and stone fruits, our IFO station is a 20-hectare surface land close to Angers. and one trial orchard for stone fruit in Montélimar. So most of our research are made around apples. Every year, our breeding program is close to 20,000 pipins generating by crosses we made ourselves or with some partnerships, and more than 14,000 trees under observation, because every year we have to select more in each generation and to keep only the trees with promising genetics. Our nursery is probably the biggest apple tree nursery in France and one of the biggest in Europe. We grow between 4 and 5 million apple and pear tree every year. Our rootstock production is between 5 and 6 million rootstock. So our production is mainly for our tree production, but we also sell it to other nursery. We are involved in research and in development of new rootstock. For example, we are working on Geneva, and we are one of the biggest producer of Geneva rootstock. We produce more than 6 million graft wood and buds, also for growing trees, with more than 100 different varieties. So we have a quite huge graft and bud orchard. We have 8 nurseries and subsidiary company all around the world. So 4 are in France, and the others are in Europe and in all the world. I will show you a little later. And we have a large catalog with more than 200 apples, pear, cherry, peach, nectarine, apricot, plums variety, and more than 25 rootstock for all these trees. So 81 hectare orchard and close to 137 staff members. So our first 4 nurseries are located in France. So 3 are close to Paris, mainly to produce apple trees, and the one in the south of France is dedicated to stone fruits. Our subsidiaries are located in Holland with a company named Bodnen, in Germany with a company named VSH, in Czech Republic we own Ocoplan. In France we have also some we are shareholder of different nurseries, Europépinière, Dalival Suisse in Switzerland, and we are owner of Ligogi in Italy. Most recently we have developed 3 or 4 years ago a new company in China called Yingzhuval, and we are currently developing a new company in India called Filaval. Here is the end of my presentation, my short presentation. You can see some of our club varieties in which we are involved for producing trees, or also for our breeding program. These are all the clubs. Maybe you know some of them, but we are involved in all of them. Thank you for your invitation to present my company.
Thank you very much. ეხლა კი მე მინდა შეგახსენოთ, რომ ჩვენ გვაქვს საშუალება რომ დავსვათ კითხვები, ამისთვის გთხოვთ გამოიყენოთ კითხვების და პასუხების ფუნქცია Q&A ღილაკი რაც არის. ეხლა ჩვენ გადავდივართ შემდეგ პრეზენტატორზე. ბატონ ზვიად ბობუკაშვილზე, რომელიც წარმოადგენს კვლევით ცენტრს და გაგვაცნობს თავის პრეზენტაციას. მაგაკ გამორთული.
მოგესალმებით თუ ყველას, თუ ისმის კარგად, პირველ ყოვლისა. ჩემი პრეზენტაცია თუ ჩანს, თუ შეიძლება გამიდასტუროთ.
დიახ, ჩანს.
მოგესალმებით სულ ყველას, უპირველეს ყოვლისა, დიდი მადლობა ორგანიზატორებს, რომ მომეცა საშუალება წარვადგინოთ ჩვენი მოხსენება, მადლობა დამსწრეებს, რომლებიც გვისმენენ. რა თქმა უნდა, ორგანიზაცია FinExCoop, რომელმაც ორგანიზაცია გაუკეთა და მთლიანად ინიციატორია ამ საინტერესო წამოწყების, თავისთავად დონორ ორგანიზაციებს, რომელმაც მართლაც რომ გვეხმარებიან სერიოზულად იმისათვის, რომ ინდუსტრია ვაშლის წარმოებისა იყოს უფრო მაღალ დონეზე, ვიდრე გვაქვს და ეს მუდმივი განვითარების პროცესია. ჩემი დღევანდელი პრეზენტაცია შეეხება ვაშლის ადგილობრივი ჯიშების ბიომრავალფეროვნებას და მათ გენეტიკურ და კომერციულ შესაძლებლობებს. თუმცა ასევე მე ვისაუბრებ გარკვეულწილად ხედვებზე თუ სოფლის სამეცნიერო კვლევითი ცენტრი, რომელსაც მე წარმოვადგენ, თუ როგორ უყურებს ზოგადად ვაშლის სექტორის განვითარება და ამდენ რამდენი სიტყვა ვთქვა. პირველეს ყოვლისა მინდა აღვნიშნო, რომ საქართველო მიეკუთვნება სახეობების წარმოშობის რამდენიმე კლასიფიკაციით სხვადასხვა ცენტრებს. ვავილოვის მიხედვით ეს არის მეოთხე ცენტრი და ბიომრავალფეროვნების მე-9 ცენტრი ჟუკოვსკის მიხედვით, რაც ადასტურებს იმ ფაქტს, რომ ადგილი, რომელზეც ჩვენ ცხოვრობთ, ანუ აქ საუბარია სამხრეთ კავკასიაზე, რა თქმა უნდა, არა მარტო უშუალოდ თვითონ საქართველოზე, არის საკმაოდ კარგი იმისათვის, რომ განმავიტაროთ სხვადასხვა ტიპის ხეხილოვანი კულტურები. რეალურად თუ ჩვენ შევხედავთ უშუალოდ იმ კულტურის დომესტიკაციის მიმართულებას, რომელზეც დღეს ჩვენ ვსაუბრობთ, ცნობილია, რომ მისი ძირითადი წარმოშობის ადგილი ეს არის მალუს სივერსი, რომელიც შუა აზიაშია და კულტურული ვაშლის მალუს დომესტიკას გენომში დაახლოებით 90 და 98%-ამდე სწორედ ეს სახეობა მონაწილეობს, თუმცა ბოლო კვლევებით დასტურდება, რომ სამხრეთ კავკასიაში არსებული მალის ორიენტალისი, რომელსაც ჩვენ მაჟალო ვაშლის სახელით ვიცნობთ, მონაწილეობას იღებს ასევე კულტურული ვაშლის წარმოშობაში და ასე ვთქვათ მის ჩამოყალიბებაში ქვეყანაში. გარდა ამისა, საქართველოში ითვლება ერთ-ერთ hotspot-ად ბიომრავალფეროვნების თვალსაზრისით და მათ შორის ხეხილოვანი, კენკროვანი და კაკლოვანი კულტურების თვალსაზრისით, რასაც რეალურად განაპირობებს ის ფაქტი, რომ უკანასკნელი მეტნაკლებად გეოლოგიური შეფასებით გამყინვარების პერიოდი, რომელიც დაახლოებით 25-დან 32,000 წლის წინ იყო, მოადგა კავკასიის ქედს, მაგრამ ვერ გადმოლახა კავკასიის ქედი, აქედან გამომდინარე გადარჩა, ერთადული გადარჩენილი მცენარეების ადგილია საქართველო და სწორედ ამით აიხსნება, რომ ბიომრავალფეროვნების კუთხით ითვლება სამხრეთ კავკასია, სადაც საქართველოა თავისთავად, ისეთი ხეხილოვანი კულტურების, სასოფლო-სამეურნეო დანიშნულების მნიშვნელოვანი კულტურების წარმოშობის ქვეყანად, ანუ მიეკუთვნება ეგრეთ წოდებული პირველადი ჯინპულის შემადგენლობას, როგორც არის ვაშლზე ვისაუბრეთ, მსხალი, კომში, ზმარტლი, კულკოვნებიდან ქლიავი, ალუჩა, თხემალი, ალუბალი, შინდი, გამშობლო ისეთი კულტურებისა, როგორც არის თხილი, კაკალი და წაბი. ყველა ეს ფაქტი ადასტურებს იმას, რომ რეალურად არსებობს ძალიან კარგი წინაპირობა იმისათვის, რომ ჩვენ არა მარტო ვიყოთ რუკაზე როგორც წარმოშობის ქვეყანა, არამედ როგორც მწარმოებელი ქვეყანა. რაც შეეხება თვითონ ვაშლის ადგილობრივი ჯიშების გენოფონდს, იგი შედგება რამდენიმე ნაწილისაგან. ძირითადად ეს არის ეგრეთ წოდებული ხალხური სელექციის გზით მიღებული ჯიშები, რომელსაც ლანდრეის ეძახით. ან შეიძლება არის საკოლექციო ნარგაობებში მაჟალო ვაშლის სხვადასხვა ჰიბრიდული პოპულაციები მალუს დომესტიკასთან. გვაქვს უცნობი წარმოშობის ტესტნერგები, ასევე ადგილობრივი სელექციონერების მიერ გამოყვანილი ჯიშები. პირველადი შეფასებით ვაშლის ადგილობრივი ჯიშების ძირითადი წარმოშობის რეგიონებია სამცხე-ჯავახეთი, აჭარა, ქართლი, იმერეთი და რაჭა. ისიც უნდა აღვნიშნოთ, რომ ადგილობრივი ჯიშების რაოდენობა გასული საუკუნის 80-იანი წლების მონაცემებით დაახლოებით ეგრეთ წოდებული სახელდებური ჯიშების რაოდენობა დაახლოებით 60-მდე იყო, თუმცა არასახელდებული ფორმების რაოდენობით მათი რაოდენობა 100-ზე მეტი იყო ძველ საკოლექციო ნარგავებში. დღევანდელი მდგომარეობას თუ ჩვენ შევხედავთ თუ რა პოზიცია აქვს ადგილობრივ ჯიშებს, სახეზე გვაქვს მრავალფეროვნების ტიპიური ეროზია, რომელიც სხვა შორის არ არის მარტო საქართველოსთვის მახასიათებელი, თითქმის ყველა ვაშლის მწარმოებელი მსოფლიოს ქვეყნისათვის ეს საკმაოდ დიდ პრობლემას წარმოადგენს. ცნობილი ფაქტია, რომ პრაქტიკულად დაახლოებით 10 ჯიშზე ტრიალებს მთელი მსოფლიოს ვაშლის წარმოება, რაც ავტომატურად იწვევს ადგილობრივი სორტიმენტების, ადგილობრივი ჯიშების საკმაოდ სერიოზულ შეზღუდვას, მიუხედავად იმისა, რომ არასრული შეფასებებით დაახლოებით 15000-მდე ჯიში არსებობს მსოფლიოში, აქედან ასე ვთქვათ კომერციული დანიშნულება მხოლოდ დაახლოებით 30-40 თუ აქვს. თუ ჩვენ შევხედავთ ვაშლის ქართულ სორტიმენტს, განსაკუთრებით ბოლო 2 ათეული წლის ტენდენციას, სახეზე გვაქვს რამდენიმე ადგილობრივი ჯიშის პოპულაციის მზარდი შემცირება, იცით რომ ჯიში კეხურა იყო ერთ-ერთი წამყვანი ჯიში, თუნდაც გასული საუკუნის ბოლოსათვის, რეალურად მისი პოპულაცია, მისი წილი მნიშვნელოვნად მცირდება, პრაქტიკულად არც ერთი ახალი ბაღი ამ ჯიშებით აღარ შენდება. სამწუხაროდ, აი ეს ცოდნა, რომელიც არსებობდა მოსახლეობაში ძველი ავტოქტონური ჯიშების შესახებ, ესეც დაკარგულია პრაქტიკულად. თაობა, რომელსაც ცნობდა ამ ძველ ჯიშებს, პრაქტიკულად წასულია, ახალმა თაობამ ეს ინფორმაცია არ აქვს. ჩვენი ექსპედიციური კვლევების შედეგად დადგენილია, რომ ძალიან ბევრი ინტროდუციული ჯიშს ასაღები როგორც ადგილობრივ ჯიშად, ან კიდევ ვიღაცის მიერ შემოტანილ ჯიშს ასევე ასაღებენ მის ორიგინატორად, რაც რეალურად არასწორია და რაც გარკვეულწილად იწვევს ხოლმე გარკვეულ გაუგებრობებს იდენტიფიკაციასთან დაკავშირებით ადგილობრივ ჯიშების კუთხით. აქედან გამომდინარე, მნიშვნელოვანია, რომ შეფასებული იყოს მართლაც არსებობს ადგილობრივი ჯიში თუ მართლაც შემოტანილია და სხვა ჯიშად არის გასაღებული. ამასთან დაკავშირებით ცნობილი ფაქტია, რომ ხალხი მიიჩნევს, რომ მაგალითად ესეთი ვაშლის ჯიში, როგორც არის ცარსკი, არის ქართული, ან თუნდაც ანტონკა არის ქართული, რაც აბსოლუტურად სიმართლეს არ შეესაბამება. რა მდგომარეობა გვაქვს ადგილობრივი ჯიშების დაცვის კუთხით? გეტყვით, რომ თუ 20 წლის წინ საკმაოდ რთული მდგომარეობა, დღეისათვის ამ თვალსაზრისით უფრო უკეთესი მდგომარეობა გვაქვს. დაახლოებით 4 საკოლექციო ნარგავობა ვაშლის საქართველოში, აქედან გვაქვს საკოლექციო ნარგავობა აჭარაში 2012-2014 წელს დაარსებულ, სადაც დაახლოებით 15-მდე ვაშლის ჯიშია ადგილობრივი. აგრარული უნივერსიტეტის საკოლექციო ნარგავობა 40-მდე ჯიშით. ერთ-ერთი უძველესი კოლექცია ვაშლის ადგილობრივი ჯიშებისა და დამწყები ამიმართულებისა ორგანიზაცია ელკანას მიერ გაშენებული კოლექცია და ეს ბოლო კოლექცია, რომელსაც ჩვენი ორგანიზაცია წარმოადგენს, ეს არის ჯიღაურას ხეხილის ადგილობრივი ჯიშების კოლექცია, სადაც დაახლოებით 80-ზე მეტი ჯიში და ფორმა გვაქვს ვაშლისა თავმოყრილი დღეისათვის. რეალურად სუმთლიანი თითქმის 192 ნიმუში გვაქვს წარმოდგენილი სხვა ხეხილოვანი კულტურებისა. რეალურად მასალა მოპოვებულია ჩვენი ექსპედიციური გზის წინასწარი ჩატარების და მერე მოგროვებული კალმით და გამრავლების გზით. კოლექციაში თავმოყრილი გვაქვს ისეთი ჯიშები, როგორც არის აბილაური დებილალმა, ფაშალმა, ერბოაშლა, კიტრավაშლა, თათენა, ყარაფილა, მესხური თურაშაული და ასე შემდეგ. შაქარნაბადა და შაქარა, რომელსაც ჩვენ მიგვაჩნია, რომ ერთ-ერთი ძალიან საინტერესო კანდიდატი ჯიშებია სამომავლო თვალსაზრისით. რა აქვს მას ადგილობრივ ჯიშებს თავისი დადებითი? პირველ რიგში ეს არის მათი მახასიათებელი, რომ მათი დაპყრობა უფრო მაღალია, კერძოდ ხასიათებიან უფრო გვიან სხვადასხვა საძირეზე ეს ერთგვაროვანი არ არის. ზოგიერთი ფორმა გამოირჩევა დაავადების მიმართ უკეთესი გამძლეობით, საგემოვნო თვისებებით, რა თქმა უნდა შენახვის უნარიანობით ჯიში კეხურა არის ერთ-ერთი ალბათ ლიდერი და ისიც უნდა აღვნიშნოთ, რომ რამდენიმე ფორმა საზოგადოებაც მიღებულია სწორედ ამ ჯიშის სასელექციო მწვრილად გამოყენების თვალსაზრისით, ესეთი ცნობილი ერთ-დროს ლენდმარკი საქართველოსთვის ვაშლის ჯიში კეხურა. ახსოვთ ძველ ფერმერებს, ვისაც არ ახსოვს, გეტყვით, რომ ეს იყო ჯიში რომლის პოტენციალი ჰქონდა შემთხვევები ისყავდა მოსვლის ნაკლოვანი მხარეები ვისაუბრეთ რომ ეს არის მსოფლიოში მიმდინარე ტენდენცია და ამის მიმართ რეალურად საკმაოდ ხშირად ტექნოლოგიურ განგაშმა სამწუხაროდ რაღაცა რეალური ამ მხრივ გაუმჯობესება არ ხდება ვერ უწევენ ადგილობრივი ჯიშები კომერციულ ჯიშებს სასაქონლო სახით მოსავლიანობით ინტენსიფიკაციის კუთხის მორგებით კუთხით შენახვის უნარიანობითაც მაგრამ ყველაზე უფრო მნიშვნელოვანი ბოლო ორი პოზიცია ეს არის მომხმარებლის ცნობადობა და მარკეტინგული მოთხოვნა რომელზეც როგორც წესი მათზე ნაკლები აქვს ну რა მიგვაჩნია ჩვენ როგორ შეიძლება ეს კოლექცია გარკვეულწილად გამოვიყენოთ გარდა იმისა რომ ეს არის საკმაოდ კარგი მასალა სასელექციო კვლევებისათვის და ასე მშობელ წყვილებად გამოყენებისათვის მით უმეტეს კლიმატის ცვლილების პირობებში გლობალური და თვლიან ასე გაზიარება მოახდინოთ გარდა ამისა მიგვაჩნია ძალიან საინტერესო მიმართულება შეიძლება იყოს ტურისტული მიზნით მცირე ადგილობრივი ჯიშების ბაღების გაშენება, როგორც ვთქვათ, გარკვეულწილად მოსაზიდად, ენთუზიასტების მოძიება, ვისაც სურვილი აქვს, რომ ადგილობრივი ჯიშების რამდენიმე ფორმა მაინც გააშენოს თავის ბაღში. მაგრამ გარდა ამისა, ვფიქრობ, რომ კომერციული პერსპექტივები გააჩნია. ჩვენი კოლექციიდან თუნდაც 2-3 ჯიშიც თუ შევძელით და გარკვეულწილად უკან დავაბრუნეთ წარმოებისთვის, ჩავთვლით, რომ როლი მოცემულ კოლექციას არა როგორც მუზეუმის ჯიშებისა, არამედ კოლექციას, რომელსაც პრაქტიკული გამოყენება აქვს, გარკვეულწილად შესრულებულია. შეიძლება გამოყენებული იყოს ბიომეთოდებით ხილის მოყვანისთვის უკვე გამოიკვეთა ახალი კოლექცია გვაქვს რამდენიმე ძალიან საინტერესო ფორმა, რომელსაც კეთილადმი გამძლეობა უფრო მაღალი აქვს ვიდრე სხვა ფორმებს. კონკრეტულ მიკროზონაში შესაძლებელია ადგილობრივი ჯიშის წარმოება და ამ ფორმატში გარკვეულწილად მარკეტინგული შეფუთვა იმისათვის, რომ მასში კომერციული მომგებიანობა გაიზარდოს. და რა თქმა უნდა, ადგილობრივი ჯიშების პოპულარიზაცია ერთ-ერთი მნიშვნელოვანი საკითხია იმისათვის, რომ ამ ყველაფერს გარკვეულწილად მივახციოთ. ну რა შეიძლება ასე ვთქვათ, პირველადი შედეგები რა გვაჩნია? რამდენიმე ორი საინტერესო ფორმა საკმაოდ ცნობილი ჯიში აჩაბეთურა, რომელიც გამოჩნდა გასულ საუკუნეში საქართველოში, მაგრამ გარკვეულად გაბნეულია და თან სხვა ფორმებს ეძახიან ამ აჩაბეთურას. გარკვეულწილად ვფიქრობ, რომ მას თავისი კომერციული დატვირთვა გააჩნია. ან იგივე ზაფხულის ვაშლის ძალიან საინტერესო ადგილობრივი ფორმა, რომელიც გვაჩნია, რომ ასევე მეტნაკლებად მომხმარებელიც იცნობს და მისი როგორც საკალმე მასალით გავრცელების შემთხვევაში შესაძლებელია მისი ბაღის გაშენებაც. რაც შეეხება ახალი საკოლექციო ნაობებიდან
სამწუხაროდ ცუდი კავშირი არის.
მაგალითად ჯიშაკარნაბადა, მართლაც გამორჩეული ტკბილი გემოთი. ადგილობრივი ჯიშის თვალსაზრისით შესაძლებელი იყოს, რომ განაცრა ვაშლების ტექნიკები. ანუ რადგან ვისარგებლებ შესაძლებლობით და ვიტყვი, რომ თუ ვინმეს მაგალითად დამსწრებს თვლით, რომ გაქვთ რომელიმე ძველი ვაშლის ჯიში ან სახელდებული ან არასახელდებული, მოგმართეთ ჩვენ და შევხედავთ პირველადი იდენტიფიკაციისთვის და კოლექციაში თავს მოუყრით. იმიტომ რომ თითოეული გენოტიპი, რომელიც წინაპრების მიერ არის შემონახული, ჩვენთვის ძალიან მნიშვნელოვანი და კარგია. ეს რაც შეეხება თვითონ გამოყენებას, ორიოდე სიტყვა მინდა ვთქვა თვითონ ჩვენი ორგანიზაციის კვლევით აქტივობებზე. დღეისათვის მეხილეობის კვლევის სამსახური, რომელიც ძირითადად ლოკალიზებულია ჯიღაურას საკოლექციო ნარგაობაში, რამდენი მიმართულებით მუშაობს. ერთ-ერთი ყველაზე უფრო ძირითადი მიმართულება ორგანიზაციის არის ახალი ჯიშების შემოტანა და მათი შეფასება გამოცდა. შეგვიძლია აღვნიშნოთ, რომ ვართ ის ორგანიზაცია, რომელმაც შემოიტანა პირველად რამდენიმე ჯიში შეფასება გააკეთა და წარმოებაში მეტნაკლებად ფეხსიკიდებს ისეთი ჯიშები, როგორც აი თუნდაც ჯიში ტინოა, რომელიც ჩვენ მიერ იყო პირველად შემოტანილი და გამოცდილი. ან Red Delicious-ის ისეთი კლონები, როგორც აი Red Cup-ი, Red Can-ი და რეკომენდირებული. აქედან გამომდინარე ეს სამუშაო დღეისათვის გრძელდება, გვაქვს საკმაოდ კარგი და მდიდარი საკოლექციონო არგაობა, რომელზეც კვლევები მიმდინარეობს. ადგილობრივი ჯიშების კოლექციაზე ვისაუბრე. გარდა ამისა გვაქვს ერთი ახალი მიმართულება, ეს არის ეგრეთ წოდებული ელი ბაღების მიმართულება, რომელიც ბოლო ხანებში მეტად საინტერესო მიმართულებად იქცა, მე დაინტერესდებით დეტალურად შემიძლია ვისაუბრო. დრონების გამოყენებაზე კვლევები, როგორც სკანირების კუთხით, იმისათვის რომ იგივე NDVI სპექტრი მივიღოთ ან RGB სპექტრი მივიღოთ და მის საფუძველზე შეფასების მიდგომები შევიმუშაოთ, ან პირდაპირ პრაქტიკული გამოყენება დრონებისა, როგორც არის მაგალითად შესხურება, ამით საინტერესო ექსპერიმენტები გვაქვს. ნუ როგორ მიგვაჩნია ჩვენ როგორც კვლევით ორგანიზაციას რეაქტივობები უნდა წარიმართოს სექტორ ჯიშების შემოტანა და გამოცდა ეს პერმანენტული პროცესია და მოდი საინტერესო პრეზენტაციაც იყო ძალიან ცნობილი კომპანია დალივალის მიერ, რომელსაც აქვს გამოცდილება და მე შემდგომში შესაძლოა ვისაუბროთ იმაზე თუ რამდენად იქნება შესაძლებელი რომ საქართველოში ამ ჯიშების გამოცდა, შემოტანა და გამოცდა მოხდეს, იგივე ახალი საძირეების შემოტანა ხსენებული იყო ისეთი რამდენიმე ახალი პერსპექტიული საძირე, რომელიც არის მარკის რიგის. ნუ მეწლეობის უარყოფით გავლენის შემცირებასთან დაკავშირებით აღარ გავამახვილებ ყურადღებას, მე მგონი ფართოდ იყო განხილული უშინდელ პრეზენტაციებში ეს საკითხი. აღვნიშნეთ, რომ 2D ბრტყელი ბაღი იქცეს მომავლის ბაღის კონცეფცია და მიგვაჩნია მიმართულება. საქართველოს ნიადასიების შემუშავება მორგება, ესეც მნიშვნელოვანია. რა თქმა უნდა, IPM-ის გამოჩენა ვაშლის კეცი, რომელიც ახალი რეზისტენტული კლონები და ფორმები საკმაოდ რთულად ექვემდებარება აი სტანდარტულ დამუშავების სისტემებს, რომელიც აქამდე ჩვენ ვიყენებდი და ამ მხრივ რა თქმა უნდა კვლევაა საჭირო. ასევე მიგვაჩნია, რომ იმის გამო, რომ რეგიონული თვალსაზრისით იგივე გლობალური დათბობის პირობებში სახეზეა, რომ ექსტრემალური პირობები, თუნდაც ისეთი როგორც ეს საგაზაფხულო წაყინვები, ალბათობა გაზრდილია, აქედან გამომდინარე მისი შემცირების ახალი რეაგენტების გამოყენებაზე კვლევაც ვფიქრობ, რომ ერთ-ერთი მნიშვნელოვანი საკითხია ამ კუთხით. თავისთავად სტანდარტული მიდგომა იმისათვის, რომ განვითარება იყო ეს აგრონომიული კუთხით გარკვეულწილად მე უკვე შევეხე და მოყვანასთან დაკავშირებით, მაგრამ ასევე მიმაჩნია, რომ მარკეტინგული მიმართულების გაუმჯობესება ერთ-ერთი მნიშვნელოვანი საკითხია. იგივე რეგიონალურ დონეზე ვაშლის სხვადასხვა ტიპის ფესტივალების გამოფენების მოწყობა ან ზოგადად პოპულარიზაცია ადგილობრივ დონეზე, გარკვეულ დონეზე აუცილებლად მიმდინარეობდეს, რადგან აიცა და ასეთ პირობებში, როგორც წესი, ეს ტრადიციული ხილი, რომელიც მიჩნევა, მას ზედმეტი რეკლამირება არ ჭირდება და არა და რეალურად ჭირდება, იმიტომ რომ ახალი თაობა, რომელიც 21 საუკუნეშია დაბადებული, შედარებით ნაკლებად იცნობს ძველ ტრადიციულ კულტურებს, მოკლე ეს კუთხით თუ რას ვაკეთებ დაბრუნების და გადარჩენის მიმართულებით და ხედვა
ბატონ ზვიად, დიდი ბოდიშმა ძალიან ცუდი კავშირი არის და
სექტორის განვითარების მომექცია. უი რასამა. თუ რამე შეკითხვები იქნება, შევეცდები რომ
ძალიან დიდი მადლობა ბატონ ზვიად, მიუხედავად კავშირის პრობლემებისა, მაინც
პანელის დასრულების
Button Christoph Sachs. Kitwada, Christoph, please go ahead.
Yes, Gamma Jubat, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor. I think you are touching an essential component of what has to be done in the future. First of all, I would like to remind the audience that AFD is deeply committed to biodiversity. Initially, AFD was mainly working in French external territories and in former French colonies, mainly in Africa, and it enlarged its mandate, geographic mandate 20 years ago by focusing on international public goods, and there were one of the core components was promotion of biodiversity. Biodiversity is definitely a vital public good today, especially in the context of climate change. And it is also of key interest for companies like Dalival. It's a pity that Jean-Sébastien left, but I remember bringing the team of Dalival to Tajikistan 14 years ago. They were not interested by the market of Tajikistan, which was minute, but they were very interested by identifying in this core place of development of fruit and especially of apples, elements which would be needed for the future, not only for Central Asia, but for global purposes. And so I take your point that we need to frame some kind of public-private partnership to promote Georgian biodiversity in apples, as well as in many other sectors. I'm very interested by, for instance, by Georgian biodiversity for cows. The Mingalian cow, for instance, is a very, very interesting part of our global biodiversity. So we should frame schemes which will allow to combine your biodiversity, which must be protected because it is yours, your technical capacity and your deep knowledge of this biodiversity, and the best technology and practices of leading companies worldwide. And in this respect, Dalival is a good choice because it is probably one of the 5 leading companies in the field. So concretely, following this forum, within FinExCoop, we are trying to see what could be done. To probably, as part of another project, we plan to propose to the French Ministry of Finance. We have already developed such a project for small ruminants in Georgia. We really think that it is very important to build a platform where all these elements will be combined, and with a great result, not only in terms of promotion of biodiversity, but also, I would say, in terms of promotion of exports from Georgia, because we see exactly for apples what we have seen for wine. I remember when I was working here 15 years ago, people were speaking of bringing Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot to Georgia, and not focusing on your splendid biodiversity, and especially on Saperavi and other types of grapes. We have the same for apples. If we can have at least one leading Georgian apples, preferably organic, sold abroad, especially to the EU market, which will be interested by this approach, I think we will have made a big amount of work. Fabien, I see Fabien who will speak then after, because Fabien has a unique experience of all the countries of the Silk Road. I think that Fabien, you will most probably follow this approach.
Yeah, certainly.
And so I just quit on this, but thanks a lot. And I would say that it is also a great honor for us to work in Georgia, where there is so much knowledge accumulated. In Soviet times in particular, let us be clear, there has been great research made. And so we should build on this great research of the past to face the challenges of the future? Thanks a lot. And sorry, it was not really a question. Huh?
Thank you, Christoph, for your contribution. ბატონზია, ძალიან დიდი მადლობა თქვენი საინტერესო პრეზენტაციისთვის. სხვა კითხვები თუ არ არის, ასე შეგახსენებთ, რომ შეგიძლიათ კითხვების და პასუხების ფუნქცია გამოიყენოთ, რომ ბოლოში ესე ვთქვათ, დავსვათ კითხვები. ეხლა მინდა წარმოგიდგინოთ შემდეგი მონაწილე, ქალბატონი ანა შეშელავა, რომელიც წარმოგიდგენს თავის ორგანიზაციას და ზოგადად პრეზენტაციას. გთხოვთ.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Anna, and I'm innovation manager in agriculture, and I'm in here to tell you about the impact of digital technologies in agriculture. So at the first point, let's have a short look at the market players. I divided them into business hubs which surround farm production. Each of the hub has its own unique processes and communication channels and wants to know certain information about farm production. But let's be honest, the average farmer without MBA in economical or business science has to operate in an unregulated market with tons of risks. Add to that the necessity of constant control of production, so there is no time for bureaucracy. And there is no chance for a high quality integration with each hub. As a result, we have subsidized enterprise on the verge of survival. But let's imagine a beautiful world. Each production has its own page in farm management system, like people normally have in social medias. In this system, farmers have access to weather analytic or helpful tips, can share the results of the work and indicates the events that have happened to him, for example, fertilization or purchase equipment. And this page helps to each market player or hub to have access to this information without visiting a production or treating farmer with their own processes and their own bureaucracy. And because the production already provides all this information through the farm management system, and every single report can be created automatically. In additional, such platform can help market players to establish communication with each production and provide the relevant support. Talking about specific benefits for production, the implemented of farm management system helps to become at first business oriented. The second, establish strong production processes and get immediate access to knowledge for making right decision. And all of this is expressed in reduction of costs and increase of revenue. So in case, if it's good for farmer, it's good for the whole industry. Transparency and optimization has a direct impact on the results for each hub. And the real-time statistic allow each hub to manage the budget more effectively. And there is one more non-objective effect, but in my opinion, and I really believe in that modern technologies can bring more youngsters into agriculture. And the last but not least, I want to tell you briefly about the environmental impact of digitalization on the example of the real project. As we know, plant protection is extremely science-intensive field that needs professional and independent advisory. And until somebody invented teleportation or chipping farmers these technologies, digital technologies, the only way to provide such support from limited specialists to hundreds of thousands of farmers, this by geography. And that's why European Innovation Council launched the project to provide remote advice to every single farmer across the Europe. This is the main goal, to reduce the usage of pesticides by half by 2030. And realizing such an ambitious goal is impossible without the usage of real-time information and direct communication with farmers through a centralized system. In conclusion, I would like to note what I did my best to avoid complicated technical terms and show the pros briefly in this using the real examples, but behind this user-friendly interfaces and beautiful digital future, there are complex technologies that can solve the really difficult problems. And for this future to become our reality, technology adoption must be centralized, well implemented, and of course, it's impossible without synergy of each market player and support of regulators and big players. Thank you for attention. Many thanks to organizer for the chance to be here. And I hope my presentation was useful for you. Please feel free to contact me if I can be service of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I apologize. I pronounce your surname in Megrelian, like Megrelian one.
No worries.
Okay. To
I consider change in future. Who knows?
Yeah. თუ არის კითხვები, გთხოვთ დავუსვათ ჩვენ მონაწილეს ან დამატოთ კითხვებში და პასუხებში.
So I have one question. So does it mean that this is some type of the services for the farmers? This is it's very interesting that do you provide some type of this type of the services by software or some type of the things? It will be appreciated if you will be answered.
Yeah, I would say there are a bunch of this kind of solution in the market, and most and I would say these technologies are in the beginning of their development. But there are already a couple of really strong softwares that you can even use from your smartphone and make reports. And you mentioned NDVI indexes get this information from satellite monitoring. So answering to a question, is there any kind of this solution? I answer yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. დიდი მადლობა. თუ სხვა კითხვები არ არის, მე გადავალ შემდეგ მონაწილეზე, პრეზენტატორზე სწორედ, ბატონი დევიდ ბერტრანდი, რომელიც არის CEO Axatia Investment-დან.
Gamarjoba. I hope everything is fine. So my name is David Bertrand. I am the CEO of Axatia Investment. Axatia Investment, it is on the name investment company, and we manage to invest in different kinds of projects, mainly in Georgia. So first of all, I am very happy to be here with you, and I learned many things about the way of you are doing each of you, and how what is the approach of your way of agriculture. So what we are doing, we are 50 hectares of land in Lagoderi, and we want to produce Georgian organic cider. So we plant already 5 hectares of different variety of apple, and we start the production of the building, cidering production building. And the idea is to produce organic cider with a mix of Georgian apple. So we want to have and to find some organic and endemic variety that we can plant in Lagoderi or in Netherlands, what we have in Tianeti. And we have already planted, let's say, international variety of apple. Everything is done in an organic way. And the idea is to manage this land with different projects. So first project will be the cider production, and we can manage to do in the organic way, because if at the end the fruit is not perfectly beautiful for selling as the raw product, because we are doing cider, it will be also easier for us to make it as an organic way. And we need to find here some kind of knowledge and kind of support to move forward on this production. And as well, I was very interested about some people who were speaking about the endemic Georgian apple. So also for us to plant, now we have the project to plant in Tianeti at least 6-7 hectares. And I will be very interesting to see how I can fulfill and buy some trees here in Georgia to plant in that region. So the first project is agroecology and agroforestry to produce the cider. And the idea is to also develop the touristic place, so agrotourism, to provide to many type of people the way and to show how we are producing apple in organic way, how we will produce as well different kind of other trees, because as the biodynamic way, we said that if you want to put apple and you want to have different varieties of trees to protect the apple from worms and other illness, it's very good to mix trees together, for example, with grenade or kaki. So in our orchard, we plant also different trees who are protecting each other. And the idea is to also put some animals there. So we plant between the line some alfalfa and some other type of grass to fulfill alimentation to fulfill food for animal. So the project is a production of apple, production in organic way, making cider and make touristic place with eco village and to promote also the training. So because we will have the orchard, the idea is also to have a small school there and to promote the permaculture, the way of using of cutting the trees in the organic orchard. So the idea is to have a place like a multi-purpose place where we will manage different kind of business, agriculture, and things like this. So it can be a little bit complicated as a first presentation like this, but if you have question, I am here to answer to this question.
Thank you very much, David. Actually, it corresponds to our idea of smart village, so it's quite interesting what you just presented. მეგობრებო, თუ რამე კითხვა არის, გთხოვთ დასვათ, ან ესე ვთქვათ, ისევ გამოიყენოთ ეს შესაძლებლობა ბოლოში, რომ ვთქვათ, დავსვათ კითხვები.
თუ შეიძლება.
გთხოვთ და კრისტოფი იქნება შემდეგი.
ქართულად თუ
ხო, ქართულად და უთარგმნო.
ანუ პირველ ყოვლისა ძალიან დიდი მადლობა ბატონ დევიდს. პრაქტიკულად ეს იყო ის კონცეფციის გაგრძელება, რომელსაც მე ვისაუბრე, ანუ თუ როგორ ხედავ ჩვენ ადგილობრივ ჯიშებს. აქედან გამომდინარე, დიდი მადლობა, რომ ასე ვთქვათ, წამოწყება არსებობს. ჩვენ როგორც ოფისმოვნლობის სამეცნიერო კვლევითი ცენტრი, რომელიც მუშაობს ამ მიმართულებით, რაც მოხარული ვიქნებით გესტუმრებით და თუ რამე ჩვენი რესურსის გამოყენება იქნება საჭირო, მზად ვართ ამისთვის. დიდი მადლობა.
დიდი მადლობა. Christoph, please.
Okay, so let's see how we can manage this. The idea is to in Tianeti now. I want to plant in Tianeti, and my idea is if I want to produce real or Georgian cider, if I can add on this cider a unique Georgian variety or endemic Georgian variety, it will make this cider as a unique one. You cannot find the same taste in other place. So that's why I am very interested in to move forward on this 6, 7, 8 hectares of endemic plant.
Thank you. Christoph, you are raising the hand. Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot, and excuse me to speak a lot today. First of all, just to revert to the presentation by Anna, I think that Georgia has the benefit of being a laggard to a large extent. Backwardness can be a plus. Georgian future in agriculture will leapfrog, as we have seen in many countries. For instance, in France, the coverage of mobile phone is not as good as in many new countries, even when they are poor, because we used to have a very good system of fixed line, and so we didn't have to invest so much in mobile systems. And it is the same for agriculture. I think that definitely the new technologies, satellite monitoring, drones, and will develop very quickly, even in a country like Georgia, even though we have small plots and still uncertainty on land ownership and management. And so, yeah, I think, Anna, you are in the future already. We are trying in FinExCoop to contribute to this. We are working with somebody called Amiel Citruk, who is unfortunately not around the table today, to develop the use of satellite monitoring. And also I see a big potential for a Caucasian approach of these technologies. I was 2 weeks ago in Baku, and Azerbaijanis and Azercosmos in particular are working hard in this field. So this is a priority. It is a priority of FinExCoop. We have planned to organize a conference on smart agriculture. We hope we will be able to do it before the end of our project. And the new project of AFD in Zemosanguri will have a very strong component of smart agriculture. Regarding to what was presented by David, first of all, congratulations, because David came here by chance in Georgia, and after 2 years, he had his idea and he put it on track. He is a very stubborn and committed investor. So the orchard in Lagodikhi is not an idea, it's a fact now. What is very interesting in the approach of David is that he wants to share. And David has planned also to organize a place for a training center in his orchard in Lagodikhi. Correct me if I'm wrong, David.
No, it's okay.
And we see also extremely good value in a proposal of research and experimental research and training orchard centers. This is for us one of the key for the future. And we will apply during summer for specific French support. I don't know whether we will get it, but at least we will apply to create such experimental and research training orchards ideally in at least 3 different ecotypes of Georgia. We need to have one in Gori because it remains in Chidakati because it remains the hub of fruit production in the country. Lagodichi would be also very interesting because of the specific climate, much warmer than. And Chaneti, what is the height of your place in Chaneti?
So the land is between 900 and 1,000 meters.
And this is also very interesting because we see a big potential for fruit in mountainous areas. Don't forget that, for instance, in Europe, a large part of the production of fruit in France, it is in the valley of Durance, in Italy and Austria, it is in Piedmont or in semi-mountainous areas. So this is definitely a very interesting place for the development. So concretely,
And Tianeti,
concretely, we want to go ahead with this, and as it is written in the program of this conference, the goal of this conference is not to think, but to think and act together, and to put forward concrete proposal where we could have this mixture of types of fruit, including internationally fruit and varieties and rootstocks brought from abroad, but also obviously using this platform as a way to promote the best biodiversity of Georgia. If not, we will miss the point. To have the combination of two, and with the best technologies which need to fit with the EU agenda of 50% reduction of pesticide by 2030. So thanks a lot, David, for your hard work. Thanks a lot, Ziad, also for your hard work. And I wish that after this meeting, you will find time to go to your orchard together and see what you can be doing. We will do all we can to support you in this respect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph. Thank you, David. If თუ არ არის სხვა კითხვები, გადავალთ შემდეგ პრეზენტატორზე. ეხლა მინდა მოვიწვიო გიორგი ხუროშვილი, უმცროსი აგრონომი და FinExCoop-ის სტაჟიორი და როგორც არც ისე დიდი ხნის წინ ამბობდნენ, პერსპექტიული ახალგაზრდა.
მოგესალმებით. ისმის შემიძლია ხო?
კი, ისმის.
მე ვარ გიორგი ხუროშვილი, FinExCoop-ის უმცროსი აგრონომი და უკვე 5 კვირა FinExCoop-ის გავდივარ FinExCoop-ის ტრენინგებს საფრანგეთში და შევეცდები ამ 10 წუთის მანძილზე ამ 5 კვირიან გამოცდილებაზე მოგიყვეთ. ცოტა რთულია, რა თქმა უნდა, ამ ყველაფერს 10 წუთში ჩატევა, მაგრამ მაქსიმალურად შევეცდები. პირველ რიგში ეს არის ჩემი დროის ხაზი ავაწყე საფრანგეთში სამთვიანი, სადაც გავდივარ და რაც უნდა გავიარო. პირველ რიგში ამ ჩემი ტრენინგი დაიწყო დალივალში და ეს დალივალის ტრენინგი გრძელდება 5 კვირა. ამ შემთხვევაში პირველი ადგილი სადაც უკვე ვიყო ვილაკოტრე, სადაც ან უშუალოდ მიმდინარეობს ენერგიის წარმოება. დალივალის ვილაკოტრეში, ანუ ამ შემთხვევაში ჩართული ვიყავი სამუშაოებში, როგორც არის მაგალითად მენეჯერთან ერთად უშუალოდ სამუშაოზე დაკვირვება. ამ შემთხვევაში ვიღებდი ისეთ სამუშაოებში მონაწილეობა, როგორც არის თუნდაც გამარჯვება, სარწყავი სისტემების მოწყობა, სანერგეში საყრდენი სისტემების მოწყობა, პესტიციდების წარმოება, ენერგიის ყიდვა. ამ შემთხვევაში ფოტოებზე არის წარმოდგენილი ის ტექნიკა, საწყობი, რომელშიც მუშაობდი. შემდეგი უკვე უშუალოდ იყო მულანერგის სანერგე. ამ შემთხვევაში ეს სანერგე ორიენტირებულია საძირის გამოყვანაზე. ამ სანერგეში გავიცანი დაახლოებით 22-მდე საძირე, რომელიც შემთხვევით ანუ ხელმიუწვდომელი იყო საქართველოში. აღმოაჩინა ისეთი კლონები, ისეთი ჯიშის კლონები, რომელიც აწარმოებს დალივალი, რომელიც ჩემი აზრით აპრობირებული იქნება საქართველოსთვის. ამ შემთხვევაში ეს სანერგე ორიენტირებული იყო სანერგის წარმოებაზე და კვირტის სამყნოვი მასალის წარმოებაზე. ამ შემთხვევაში ამ სანერგეში ვიღებდი მონაწილეობას მაგალითად სამყნოვი მასალის მომზადებაში, რომელიც წინა წელს აიჭრა, შესაბამისად შენახული იყო მაცივარში და შემდეგ უკვე მოთხოვნის შემთხვევაში მის მიწოდებაში ვიყავი ჩართული. ამ ირიგაციაში ვიყავი, საძირების დაფარვაში ნახეთქით, უშუალოდ ფოტოებზე ჩანს ტექნიკით მუშაობის პროცესი და საძირების გამარგვლაშიც ვიყავი ამ შემთხვევაში აქ ჩართული, ჯამში აქ გავატარე 2 კვირა. ამის შემდეგ იყო შემდეგი სანერგე, ამ სანერგეშიც ესეც დალივალის კუთვნილი სანერგეა. ფაქტიურად იგივე პროცესები მიმდინარეობს, უბრალოდ სრულიად განსხვავებული ტექნოლოგიით. რამაც საშუალება მომცა, მაგალითად, თანამედროვე ტექნოლოგიებით მიმდინარეობს, სურათზე მოცემული მანქანა, რომელიც ახორციელებს 7-მდე ოპერაციას, რომელიც ჩემთვის პირველი იყო და აღთქმანება გამოიწვია, ასევე აქ ჩართული ვიყავი ირიგაციაში აქაც, საყრდენი მასალის მოწყობაში, მენეჯერთან ერთად უშუალოდ დაკვირვებაში. ამის შემდეგ უკვე წინა კვირას ვიყავი დალივალის ვაშლის ბაღში. ეს ვაშლის ბაღი მდებარეობს ქალაქ ანჟესთან. აქ ამ დროს აქტიური სამუშაოები მიმდინარეობდა ვაშლის დანორმება, რაშიც მონაწილეობას ვიღებდი. რა თქმა უნდა, პირველ ჯერზე მიტარებდნენ ტრენინგებს, როგორ უნდა გაკეთებული იყოს ყველაფერი, შემდეგ კი უშუალოდ ჩემი ხელით ვაკეთებდი. მაგალითად, სურათს ქვემოთ მარცხენას მხარეს მოცემულია მანქანა, რომელიც აკეთებდა მოსავლის ვაშლის ნაყოფების დათვლას, რომელიც ასევე ახალი გამოცდილება იყო ჩემთვის და უშუალოდ მოსავლის პროგნოზირება და შესაბამისად შემდეგ დანორმებაში უკვე რამდენი ვაშლი უნდა დარჩეს ერთ ხეზე. საკმაოდ დიდი გამოცდილება მომცა ამ ყველაფერმა. როგორც ენერგიის წარმოებიდან დაწყებული, რა თქმა უნდა, დასრულებული ვაშლის ბაღში მუშაობით. ამის შემდეგ უშუალოდ ჩემი სტაჟირების შემდეგი ნაბიჯებია. შემდეგი კვირას გავატარებ FIFO-ში, ეს არის კვლევითი ცენტრი, რომელიც დალივალის დაქვემდებარებაშია. ამ შემთხვევაში ისინი მუშაობენ ახალი ჯიშების გამოყვანაზე, ახალი კლონების გამოყვანაზე, ახალი საძირეების გამოყვანაზე. საკმაოდ პერსპექტიული საძირეები ვნახე ჩემი თვალით, ხოლო ამის შემდეგ FIFO-ს სტაჟირების შემდეგ, რომელიც 1 კვირას გაგრძელდება, გადავინაცვლებ პუიეში, კამპუს პუიეში, სადაც ბატონ მარკთან ერთად ვიმუშავ გავივლი სტაჟირებას ვაშლის ბაღში, ასევე ბატონ მარკს დავეხმარები რიმპროს წაკითხვაში, რომელიც შემდეგ ქართულ ფერმერებს გადმოეგზავნებათ და რეკომენდაციების დაწერაში. ამ შემთხვევაში ამ სტაჟირების 5-კვირიანი, აი სტაჟირება გაგრძელდება 12 კვირა, დღეს დასრულდა მე-5 კვირა სტაჟირების. და ამ სტაჟირებამ მომცა ის შესაძლებლობა, რომ დამენახა, სხვანაირად დამენახა, როგორ მიმდინარეობს თუნდაც ვაშლის წარმოება, თუნდაც ენერგიის წარმოება. დამენახა, როგორი არის ახალი საძირეები, რომელიც ზოგიერთი ბაზარზე გამოჩნდება 5 წელიწადში და მე ამ საძირეებთან უშუალოდ მუშაობის გამოცდილება მქონდა და უშუალოდ დაკვირვების შესაძლებლობა მქონდა. ასევე ყველაფერმა მაგალითად დალივალმა გამოთქვა დიდი დაინტერესება, რომ გააკეთოს ესეთი გავაკეთოთ თანამშრომლობა FinExCoop-სა და დალივალს შორის, რათა მოხდეს მათ უნდათ რომ რაღაც ჯიშები და რაღაც საძირეები გამოიცადოს ასევე საქართველოში, რაზეც გვაქვს მოლაპარაკება, როგორ შეიძლება ეს ყველაფერი განხორციელდეს, იმიტომ რომ თვითონ დალივალისგანაც დიდი დაინტერესება მოდის საქართველოზე. ამ შემთხვევაში თუნდაც რომ ვიყოთ შემდეგი კვირის სტაჟირება FIFO-ში. FIFO არის მსოფლიოში ერთ-ერთი უდიდესი კვლევითი ორგანიზაცია, რომელსაც რამდენიმე ბაზა აქვს, ერთ-ერთი ყველაზე დიდი ბაზა კი აქ არის საფრანგეთში, ანჟესში. და მათ თუნდაც კლონების მხრივ და ახალი ჯიშების მხრივ ძალიან დიდი მიღწევები აქვთ. ძალიან ბევრი ახალი კლონი ვნახე, რომელიც მაგალითად 3 წლის წინ არის აღმოჩენილი და რომელიც ჩემი აზრით და ბატონების ამითანხმებიან, საქართველოში შეიძლება ძალიან აპრობირებული იყოს. მაგალითად, ერთი კლონი, რომელიც ჩემთვის ყველაზე საინტერესო იყო, გრანისმიტის კლონი, რომელსაც არ ახასიათებს გვერდის გაწყვეტილება. 2 წლის წინ არის აღმოჩენილი ეს კლონი და 2 წლის შემდეგ ჩაეშვება უკვე გაყიდვაში. ასევე ძალიან ბევრი საინტერესო, იგივე გალას კლონი იყო ძალიან ბევრი საინტერესო, უკეთესი შეფერილობით, უკეთეს საძირეებზე იყო ძალიან დიდი და საინტერესო იყო საძირეებზე ამ შემთხვევაში. მაგალითად 22-მდე ახალი საძირე ვნახე და 22-მდე ახალ საძირესთან მომიწია მუშაობა. რის შედეგადაც ანუ საძირეები არის სრულიად განსხვავებული ერთმანეთისგან, აქვს თავის დადებითი და უარყოფითი მხარეები და ამ თეორიული პრაქტიკული ტრენინგებით უკვე შემიძლია რომ მაგალითად თითოეული საძირეს დადებითი უარყოფითი მხარე აქვს საქართველოში რომელი იქნება მაგალითად ჩემი გადმოსახედიდან უკეთესი კონკრეტულ ნიადაგზე რომელი იქნება კონკრეტული კლიმატური პირობებისთვის რომელი იქნება უკეთესი ეს იყო ჩემი მოკლე პრეზენტაცია
გიორგი, ძალიან დიდი მადლობა, ეს თქვა შემჭდროებულ დროში მაქსიმალურად მოგვაწოდე ინფორმაცია, მინდა გისურვო წარმატება შენ სტაჟირებაში. ამითი უნდა ამოვწურო დღევანდელი ჩვენი ესე ვთქვათ ნაწილი, თუ რამე კითხვები არის, თხოვთ ეხლა დავწეროთ, არა და გადავცემ მაქსიმალურად უკვე ჩვენ აი ესტაფეტას ჯანსუს. კითხვა არის ბატონის ვიადისგან.
დიდი მადლობა გიორგის, ვთქვათ, ძალიან საინტერესო გამოცდილებაა. უნდა აღნიშნო, რომ ჩვენი სტუდენტი იყო გიორგი და ნამდვილად კარგი და წარმატებული სტუდენტი იყო. და ამათო და ვფიქრობ, რომ მართლაც ეს ინფორმაცია, რადგან იყო საუბარი, იქნება ძალიან საინტერესო. ჩვენ როგორც კვლევითი ცენტრი დაინტერესებული ვართ მე მიწერე კიდევაც ვთქვათ მეილი ზუსტად ამ კუთხით იგივე დალივალთან ბატონ ტიერის ვიცნობთ კარგად საკმაოდ საინტერესო პიროვნება, ვინც არის დამფუძნებელი დალივალის და ახალი ჯიშების ის კუთხით და ასევე საქართველოში შეერთებული როგორც სექტორის გაძლიერების კუთხით ამ თვალსაზრისით მაქსიმალურად დაგჭირდება შენის გამოცდილება, რომელსაც ახლა შენიღებ საფრანგეთში და წარმატებას გისურვებ ჩვენი მხრიდან. სურვილი გვაქვს, რომ ეს თანამშრომლობა გაგრძელდეს და უფრო გაძლიერდეს სექტორი, უფრო მაღალ დონეზე.
დიდი მადლობა ბატონებო და თუ სხვა კითხვა არ არის, გადავცემ აი ქრისტოფს აქვს კითხვა. Christoph, please go ahead.
Sorry once again. What I want to insist on is Georgie for us is really the model of what we want to do. Probably the biggest problem today in Georgian agriculture is that young guys do not go to agriculture, as it was well pointed out by Anna in her presentation. The latest statistic of Geostat, in 2020, you have only 0.3% of total farmers who are less than 25 years of age. You have only 6.6% who are between 25 and 39 years. And 54.2% were over 60. So we need to build, to attract, build, and keep talents in the field. If not, there will be no transformation. And so for us in FinExCoop, it has been from day one, and I would say also it's not only young youth, but it is also women, because they're also playing a very, very key role in these innovation processes often, especially in institutional capacity of women to work together is very often much bigger than for men. So for us, it is critical from day one. And we had in our initial terms of reference the idea to send some three young women from Georgia abroad to Europe to learn by doing what Georgie is doing in Dalival or in Pouillet. And today we have managed to send 9 young Georgian farmers in orchard management, in cheese production at small scale level, in insemination and new technology of genetics such as embryon transfer or sex semen, in agricultural mechanization, in veterinary, in livestock management, in goat management. So this is for us the heart of our action today. To tell you that it is an easy task, no. We have, it is very complex. It is very complex. We have big successes like Georgie. We have a situation where the success is not. But we believe that we are opening the way for others with much bigger capacity to make this connection between Georgia and new technologies in the field an essential component for the rebuilding of a modern and smart and sustainable Georgian agriculture. So thanks a lot, Georgi, to be such a good member of our team. We are very proud to have you in our team. Thanks a lot to be such a good ambassador of Georgia in France. And thanks a lot to open the door, the way for so many other young guys we have to send to EU countries to build this capacity and build a closer relationship with the EU, in which sooner or later Georgia will be a member.
Thank you, and thank you to RDFG for giving the opportunity to young guys. Thank you. დიდი მადლობა. კიდევ ერთხელ წარმატება მინდა გისურვო და აქვე ხაზი გაუსვა იმ პრობლემას, რამდენიმე გამოსვლელმა ამ კონფერენციის ფარგლებში ახსენა, რომ ჩვენ იმდენად დაგვიდგა პრობლემა, ეს თქვა სპეციალისტების ნაკლებობისა, რომ უფრო პრევალირებს ვიდრე თქვა დაფინანსების პრობლემები და ასე შემდეგ. ამიტომაც არის ბევრი ორგანიზაცია, მათ შორის ჩვენი ორგანიზაცია RDFG ცდილობს ახალგაზრდა ფერმერთა ცენტრების იდეა წინ წამოწიოს, რადგან სკოლის ასაკიდან მოხდეს უკვე პროპაგანდირება და ესე ვთქვათ სწორი ინფორმაციის მიწოდება, რა პერსპექტივა აქვს ამ დარგს. ამით მე მინდა დავასრულო, თუ სხვა კითხვა არ არის, ყველას მინდა დაგემშვიდობოთ და გადავუწე, ესე ვთქვათ, სადავეები, მართვის სადავეები ამ კონფერენციის ჯანსუს.
Thank you very much, Mano, and all distinguished speakers for this interesting discussion. It was really very, very inspiring. Now we have 10 minutes break, and then we will be back soon.
I don't think we hear you, Council. No, it's okay. No.
Hello, it seems to be a problem with Jansu's microphone. So we're inviting distinguished Mr. Javier Sanz Alvarez to moderate the fifth plenary. So Mr. Javier, you can start.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone for participating. Thanks, of course, to FinExCoop team for inviting me today, and also for inviting all these different presentations. I think it's very important for one of the relevant sectors in terms of food production in Georgia to move forward. And of course, recognizing also the role of IFD and the European Union in this process. We've been discussing about several things already for 2 days, how it's possible, how we believe that there is potential, how there are some farmers and some producers that are already doing a good job, and how this can become maybe an element for the future. I think the element that we're going to discuss in this panel is how we can add more value to the sector, and how we can produce better. We are, from our side, in terms of the work that FAO has been doing so far, identifying several elements we think are critical. We have seen investments in the agriculture sector and more completely in the apple sector, support from the state, from the different programs financed by the state, by several donors. We have identified lack of agronomic knowledge as an element that is need to be really looked at. It's linked to very critical elements of Georgia in terms of the capacities of farmers, of extensionists, but also the opportunities to provide extension to the services. We have a lack of agronomists. It's very good that we are seeing some young people in the audience, and that we are seeing young agronomists trying to change a little bit, but certainly there is a lack of capacities as one of the key elements. And later we also need some producers that are able to show the path. And we are always saying in FAO, while we understand the need, and it's our mandate to work with the smallholder farmers and to ensure that there are opportunities for smaller holder farmers to become commercial. We see also the need in the sector to have larger players that show the way. This is also in terms of investments, but also sometimes it can be not so big investments, but with a lot of added value. This is part of the discussion we would like to put forward today. So I would like to introduce the people that are going to accompany today in the panel. So we have Zurab, that has been working as an apple producer in Gori, and that is someone that we know because of the different works of the different trainings that has been part of the FinExCoop. So it's, as Christophe was mentioning right now, one of the references that we find in the sector. And this is these people in the end, this is very often these lead farmers that want to change, that are ready to adjust, that will allow that they can really contribute significantly to the changes in the sector. Sometimes you only need few individuals that are recognized in the communities and in the sector to make things change. So Zura will be our first panelist of the day. Later we're going to talk with Jean-Marc. Jean-Marc is going to tell us about market trends, and also he's going to explain his experience working with one of the biggest retailers in Georgia. We've worked a lot with Jean-Marc on several of the elements and regarding what is the importance and how to ensure the quality. I think the interesting thing that Jean-Marc is bringing is that he has seen this from the other side, from the side of the retailers, from the side of the buyers, and how important it is for them to ensure the quality of the production. And finally, we're going to have Fabian, which is an expert in apple production with a lot of experience in the region, and then he will tell us a little bit what, in his opinion, the Georgian the Georgian sector has. What is the comparative advantage compared to other countries in the region, and what could be the way forward. Let me with this invite already Zura for her first discussion, and later, of course, we will have questions and answers. Maybe if everybody agrees, we could have the discussions in the end, so that we can already extract a little bit some of the different elements from the three panelists. Thank you very much, Zura.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Thank you, Javier. And the thing is, first of all, I cannot imagine why was I ever suggested as a opinion leader or whatever leader. I have trouble sharing my screen. I'm sorry.
I can share for you, Mr. Zurab, if you want.
If you can, please, because I tried to do that this morning, but was unable. Could you please? Here you can see what are we doing since 2014. I would like to say that our involvement in agriculture was incidental. Accidental actually, because we never knew, my partners and I, that we would be involved in agriculture. We worked in different fields until 2017 mainly, and in 2007 we occasionally stumbled upon the state-run auction. So we bought some agricultural land. We thought it might be interesting for us in future to develop it into something very interesting, like agricultural tourism area or something. And up until 2014, when we really started developing multi-year planting, it was hard to imagine that we would do so, because in 2007, when we bought this land, we seeded some grains, but unfortunately, in August 2008, Russians plowed it by tanks, the whole our field. So we were unable to think of nice agricultural development, especially in the period when state was not thinking about helping agriculture whatsoever. So starting 2013, there was this new Georgian government initiative of agricultural support and subsidies. So in 2014, this new initiative covered also the orchards. So we started our investment. As a pilot project, we started with 6 hectares, and initially we didn't think of anti-hail protection, but 2 consecutive hails in 2 years convinced us it was not a right way. So we understood that unless we approach the apple business as well as real business, it is doomed to simply fail. So starting from late 2016, we covered all our orchards by that, and now we operate about 31 hectares of covered orchards, out of which 28 plus is apples, and some 2.8 hectares are pears. We were subject of many supports in terms of certification, the technical support, the direct financial support of European Union, and that's very interesting, because 2 days ago I told the European Union representatives, who actually EBRD representatives who visited our orchard, that it was by help of EU for Business initiative that waste collecting trucks started to visit our village, because the program demanded us to have a waste management system and agreement with the municipal services of waste collection. They were not serving our village, but now they are. So this program helps us not only in the way of improving agriculture, but also in a way of improving living standards, and it's quite interesting in that way. We are the only, unfortunately, Global Gap certified apple producer in Georgia since 2017. And starting 2020, we operate our cold storage, which we certified in 2021 under ISO 22000 standard. And I'm expecting our auditors to come next week to recertify us. Next slide, please. So you hear, next please. Now, just keep clicking. You can see some pictures. Yeah. So this is basically our progress, how we started and where we tend to be right now. We even registered our trademark, and we registered our logo. We wanted to, we even have 1 million stickers to be applied to apples, but because of our inability to pack them well into decent packages, it's impossible to apply the stickers. So we hope one day we will be able to carry this logo not only here, but also on our apples. Next slide, please. Yeah. So what we are now seeing in our orchards, we can say that more or less, maybe with some oversupply or overspraying of pesticides, but we have achieved the more or less consistent results in terms of quality of our apples. And this was by help of our buyer IPM providers who are situated locally and support us in a very effective way to our opinion. As I mentioned earlier, we have registered our own brand, and we are now even applying the stickers to our trucks, so that our trucks no longer show that we are supplying toothpaste or laminated flooring, but apples. So people started to understand that we are the apple producers to be seeking. This spring, we participated by help of Georgian governmental program in exhibition in Qatar, where we saw several possible buyers for our products. And given that we can cope with challenges with the packaging and transportation, that's probably a next step of our going forward as a business. Next slide, please. No. Yeah, challenges. One click. Yeah. And these are the challenges we are now facing. No, back, please. Please back. Yeah. Biennial bearing. So the harvest fluctuation is a very serious problem. We understand from yesterday's presentations that it is a serious problem for all Georgia, but we prefer that problem to be solved at least locally in our orchard, maybe preferably as soon as possible. So we started utilizing the growth regulators we sprayed last year, and this year we sprayed also the chemical thinners. So we try to avoid the biennial bearing the best way possible, but it's quite hard to fight. And those two following problems, I think, are to be solved by more knowledge we are seeking, because in some end of April, the last year's harvest, or last year's produce had started to deteriorate in quality in our cold storage, and we think once we determine where exactly we made errors or mistakes, we will cope with that as well. But hopefully this year we will start utilizing 1 MCP as well in our cold storage, so it will hopefully extend our shelf life of our product. Packaging and the logistics are the problem, but recently the factory in near Mtsketa in Zegwi started production of 18 kilo bushels, at least, which are necessary first step for the sea container deliveries to the target markets we think is our target market, which is Middle East. That's a necessary component to have, and we have some logistics to be working through with the transport companies as well. Next slide, please. So these are our problems, as I told you, and several occasions of our experience with international helpers and advisors didn't show a real result to us, and we were really skeptical about that, because we were facing what I would name traveling musicians who would come with their orchestra, set up, maybe one of them will bring their piano, another bring I don't know, trampoline, whatever. They will do their presentation, teach us from above, oh, we are not doing this well, and they would go away without us having a chance to either conversate really or having a follow-up results. And only with FinExCoop, especially with its star advisor, Mr. Lancien, we recently started to rediscover that consultancy may be consistent, maybe interesting, maybe based on the mutual trust and value the local knowledge as well. So we hope that with this cooperation, we will make those necessary steps forward, and maybe extend our product shelf life even beyond May. Next slide. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much, Zurab. Let me move fast to Jean-Marc and later to Fabian, and we have questions a bit later, if you don't mind, Christophe. I see that you want to make questions, so I'd really rather have it later. Please, Jean-Marc, tell us a little bit about your experience. How do you see this? How you have seen this from the retail sector? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys in this game? And how do you see it from your side? Thank you. Over to you.
Sure. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
You have
okay. And do you
accent,
see
French accent?
French one? Yeah. So sorry for this. And do you see my screen?
Yeah, we see you also. Thank you.
Okay, super. So just to start and to make a little presentation about myself, I am Jean-Marc Stavroulakis. I am French. I work in retail for more than 20 years now. I was working in finance at the first. I worked in Carrefour France for 7 years. And after I joined Magellan Fountain, the franchisee of Carrefour in Middle East and in Georgia. I joined in 2007. I started in Abu Dhabi, and after I went to Pakistan, and I joined Georgia 10 years ago. So I know little about the trend in Georgia, but also in terms of Middle East, and it was very interesting. And the presentation before about Middle East. Now I was also in operation, and last I was in charge of sustainability for Carrefour in Georgia. So I just want to discuss about filière qualité Carrefour. It's something that started in 1992, so almost 30 years ago. And it's something that I strongly believe in, because for me it's a win-win collaboration between retailers and producers. So on this slide, you can see the customer needs. And again, it's the customer that are driving the business, and it's the one we have to listen. And today, customers are looking for freshness, but also for healthy option. They want to have healthy option. It's global, it's international, and we have to follow this trend that is the major trend nowadays. For sure, they need also to eat local. They prefer to eat local, and in Georgia, it's also a very important matter. What is the situation as of today for retailers? So I just left Carrefour last December, so I was aware about the situation. So today in Georgia, for example, for Carrefour, but it will be the same case for almost all distributors. Intermediate people are collecting from farmers and are distributing to retailers. So for the retailers, we don't have any guarantee of any origin. We don't know exactly from where the product is coming. And even sometimes we don't have the time to check it. And we paid for sure a commission for an intermediate that have not so much added value, I would say. So what is filière qualité is agreement between retailers and farmers. There is some condition for this to make a contract. This contract is on a yearly volume. So for a producer, I am speaking about Carrefour, but I strongly believe that in Georgia we can do it with some other player. The retailer will ensure that he will take almost, and it can be the case, full production of the farmer. We will agree on the purchase price, selling price, depending of which side. We will agree on the price that will be the average last year price for the production. So the meaning is, for example, I don't know the price of apple in Georgian market, but we will take the selling price of last year, and we will agree that this price will be the purchase price for the full year. So depending on the market condition, sometimes the price will be higher, sometimes the price will be lower. Also inside, we can accommodate any variation of lari, any variation in terms of condition, of weather, and this type of things. It's agreement and it's a partnership. Again, I am insisting that it's a partnership. The meaning is that this price is agreed, and as soon as it's agreed from both sides, we will not change it except some condition. After, the contract is signed for a minimum of 3 years. So generally, we are speaking about condition between 3 to 5 years. Why? Just because it's a partnership and we want to install in a long-term perspective. For sure, the contract is normally renewed because both parties should be winning. One important part, we are defining on this contract the condition, and very, very important these days is the usage of chemicals. So because for sure, the retailer is very, very insisting on the fact that the product should be the most healthy. And this one is one critical point that with this, you will see that we can achieve some very good for retailers, but also for farmers when we will go to the conclusion. After this one, on the agreement, for sure, packaging, branding highlight of the product on the point of sale. So I saw the presentation before, and I like it actually, but I would just show you. So the example is in Carrefour in Spain, where you see, for example, some banner that you can have on the store, where you will see that, well, it's not for apple, it's for meat, but you see that we are showing to the customer from where the meat, from where it was bred, where the meat was done, and after you have a lot of communication explaining from where it's coming, and you can see some pictures. Even when I was in Carrefour, we were inviting farmer and producer to the store to discuss with the people. Now for apple, for example, this one is the apple that are sold with packaging, and I like it because it's not in plastic. And this packaging was done by Carrefour. It's Carrefour that is financing this type of packaging. The producer just benefit from this packaging. Here we are speaking about the packaging that everyone is looking after it because it's not anymore plastic and it's degradable. I really love these things, and this one can work only with agreement with the farmer. And now, sorry, the most important part, I believe, it's the output of the partnership. So this one, I just go yesterday on Carrefour. You can Carrefour France. You can make some shopping, and so I just put here golden apple, and I look at the price. And if you look at the price, the one of Carrefour Filière Qualité that is there, the price by kg is 3.12 euro by kg. If you look, the price is the one that is the most expensive. Why? Because Carrefour totally believe on this product. I just want to show you that it's even a little more expensive than the bio one. When everyone in the world is speaking about bio, the Filière Qualité Carrefour is a little more expensive. It's a little more expensive because Carrefour is following totally the bio cahier des charges, and we are totally following. And at the end, the price is one of the most expensive apples that you can find in store. And I remind you that there is no intermediates. We are between producer directly and Carrefour. So the margin for the product and for the farmer is there. Is there because the guys totally believe, he totally follow. We follow a contract and we sign agreements. The agreement was, as I told, the Filière Qualité Carrefour was started in 1992. And we have still some people that are working since 1992 with Carrefour, and they are very happy because they grow their business. When you start to sign contracts for 3 to 5 years with the distributors, you can invest. It's a long-term partnership. And if you look at media in France, you can see that now even the CEO of Carrefour, Mr. Rémi Battet, is going times to time to some big producer because it's we cannot make retail like we were doing before. Now we have to really take care of what we are selling. And I strongly believe that all retailers, even in Georgia, will have to go to the producer, will have to go to the farmer, and we have to remove all intermediates that are between, that are not adding any value. I think I make the turn of this product.
Okay, Jean-Marc?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this. Very interesting. You're talking about two things that we've been trying to put forward in Georgia. First one, it's obviously contract farming, an element which is complicated. There have been a lot of trials to do it. It really worked in very, very little. I think there were very few situations when it worked. A lot of side selling from the farmer's side when they were getting 2 cents more. Problems with the retailers, problem also when they were buying and they were not respecting the price. And certainly an issue, how can you deal or how can you foresee what is going to be the price for the full year? So elements that we may discuss later. I'm just abusing of my role as a moderator. Okay, sure. Let me give now the floor to Fabien. No surprise, we have another French.
Yeah, and as a French, it is a French team today this morning.
Surprising that this is happening, but I would like just to put a little bit of spice on this discussion. And Fabian, you are a very well-known international expert in the sector.
Thank you. So
Surab has mentioned one thing. He has said basically, I mean, he's more polite than me maybe, but he said basically, we are a bit fed up of the international consultants that come here from one to time. They come, they say something, and they leave.
I understood. I understood that.
And you're one of them, huh?
Yeah, I understood that. I know, and thank you again, because we went, I visited this orchard now 2 years ago, and
yeah,
we had already this discussion 2 years ago. And it's
we have seen cases in Georgia where we have had sometimes in different projects, but often even in the same project, and I'm not going to mention projects or donors, and we have sometimes even in the same project, two experts coming from the same crop to the same place and giving extremely different opinions to the farmers. And the farmers in the end, they didn't know. One guy came, he told me I need to do this, and the other came and they told me the opposite. So
very confusing.
It's a matter of trust. It's a matter of trust. He said, Shukurab said, it's a matter of trust with the consultant and let's say with the extension services and the growers. It's true, it's not a one-shot visit. So we can do a training for thinning for 1-2 days in Georgia, but then I know that to help the growers to thin, to use the thinners, we have to be in the field with him, and again to see 2 days after and 3 days after. So it's let's say this is why we need extension service for sure.
Exactly.
The consultant must be there to train the extension services, but it's true. It's a matter of trust. One shot, 1 day is not enough. Even 4 days. We need permanent and remotely answer the questions every day. This is my ideology, you know, about advising.
That's what I wanted to come also, because we talk about this now, that there is going to be a famous international expert coming and our problems are going to be solved. And many people like Surab in the industry that they say that, okay, that's going to be the way. Well, it's not the way. The way is to develop capacities in Georgia, is to develop agronomists in Georgia, is to develop extension services, a research center, something that can let us really on the day-to-day to move forward. And we have seen a lot of investments, Fabian, falling or failing or nearly to fail or nearly to fall because of an excess of trust, to tell you the truth. Because somebody's coming and say, oh, no, you need to do it this way. Okay, we do it. And in the end, there has not been a follow-up. Well, I just wanted you to element on that. And I don't know if you can integrate this into what you wanted to put in your presentation now. And the second one, it's about the retailers and the role of retailers. The retailers are young in Georgia. They have been here for not so long. So there is an opportunity to build trust. There is not a lot of production in the sector. There are some people that can easily contract with them so far. But the moment that there will be many more producers, much more quality in the sector, much more production, that the retailers will be able to choose, then the price war will start. So I think they have several years where the producers now, they can really take advantage that there is a lack of fresh produce in quality, quantity, and stability. But with the understanding that those that position themselves now will have, their life will be much easier in the next 10, 15 years to come. Sorry, I'm abusing, I know. Fabian, over to you for your presentation.
Okay, so let's share my screen now. Where is my? Why I don't have partagé? Where? No, sorry, it's not this one. My PPT was open, but here. 1 second, please. Here, okay. So, I'm very glad to share my experience and about my experience in Central Asia and to discuss with you today. So just to introduce myself, this is a map where I'm used to work the last 20 years. So last 20 years of experience in Azerbaijan, which is your neighbors. So I know very well. And they have developed also a great orchard of apple trees and also stone fruits. Over there also, I have some partners to help me also to be in touch with growers any times. More recently, I have developed an extension services named Fruit House, where I'm co-owner 10 years ago in Uzbekistan. So I'm based now in Tashkent. It's you know, Tashkent, we are in an area where we have apple trees around also that concern also Kazakhstan, in the Shimkent area. Also, we are close to Tajikistan, to Kyrgyzstan. So Tashkent, let's say it's a kind of hub for apple trees in Central Asia. And then also I have some experience in Russia when I went several times in the region of Krasnodar and Abinsk. And also I have some information also from Eastern Europe, like in Moldavia. And I thought it was interesting today to benchmark or to have another overview of we are since 2 days in Georgia and to check all the potential we have to grow apple trees and to reach new market in Georgia. But I think it was good today also to see, to have another look of this region. So I chosen to benchmark. Well, we have Georgia in Caucasus countries, with especially Azerbaijan, which is today a big apple grower. And I decided I would like to benchmark with Eastern Europe, and I chosen Moldavia. And I get also more information thanks to Jean-René Gourdon from Dalival, who knows very well this country. And I compare also with Central Asia, and I chosen Uzbekistan because I have at least 10 years of experience over there. So point of view agronomics, I would say that there is no big concern about the soil in these countries. We have extremely good soil in Eastern Europe, like in Moldavia. Also in Azerbaijan, also we have good soil also good soil in Tashkent area. There's no big concern. Maybe in Georgia, it's true that we have good soil, but with some, let's say, it's not agronomic point, but we have some lack of availability of land. We have difficult to collect together big areas. And you know that to grow apple trees, there is an economy of scale. Let's say 20, 30 hectares looks to be a minimum size and could be a problem in Georgia. About the climate, so Caucasus countries are somewhere unique climate for apple trees. We speak a lot about the origin of apple trees from China, Kazakhstan, but there's also another origin from Caucasus place. So, but I have to say that Azerbaijan is something extraordinary. Since 20 years, I worked there. I never seen hail. I never seen spring frost. We never seen also winter frost damage. So Azerbaijan, take care about your neighbors. You are very close, but Azerbaijan, you should be friend with Azeri growers. But on the above Eastern Europe, well, I said Moldavia, but could be also Russia, which developed a lot of orchards. Russia, Moldavia, Ukraine. They have tough winter, and today there is no genetic really able to counter the winter frost. So it's a real disadvantage for the Eastern Europe. As for Central Asia or in Uzbekistan, where we have extremely hot weather in summer, it's not 2 days at 40 degrees. It's just 1 month above 40 degrees. So very hot summer, very cold winter, hail. So I think that we are in a very good climate in Georgia and a bit better also in Azerbaijan. Water availability, which is key in our job of apple business. No, I used to say no water, no business. So even if we have good water in these countries, we have always a lack of investment everywhere. We have enough water, and sometimes we have water shortage in summer. And let's say only 1 week, 2 weeks water shortage. And we are out of the target. So let's say we have water resources. We can improve infrastructure, and certainly that's the case in Georgia. But we need also to push investment to secure water and to have reservoir and enough water to ensure a good watering. About pest and disease, so again, here I have to highlight the good climate and good condition in Azerbaijan, where there is no more fire blight today. Apple scab is also not so tough because there is much less rain than Georgia. Just to compare, Moldavia, it's very rainy. Also Tashkent, it's also rainy spring until May. Georgia is something like 500 millimeters of rain per year, which is good. It's enough, 500 millimeters for agriculture. It's enough rain, but not enough in summer. And Azerbaijan, where we grow apple trees, it's 100 millimeters, 100 to 150 millimeters per year. So it's much more dry, but thanks to the Caucasus Mountain, we have enough water by canal. So let's say that point of view agronomics, we could say that yes, Georgia, it's one of the best agronomical locations to grow apple trees. So there's certainly good potential to grow apple trees. To come back to yesterday, when I hear the statistic to 3 tons per year, 3 tons per hectare on apple trees in Georgia, and to compare with New Zealand, I don't like these stats because it's something we put.
We don't like it too.
You too. What I know when I went to visit orchard in Georgia, and with my experience also around, no, we can't reach this 50 tons in no way. I don't see why we shouldn't. If we have water and good technologies and good technique, I don't see any constraint to reach to be this 50 tons. But if I have to compare with Kazakhstan, yes, I know that in Kazakhstan we'll never reach 50 tons because of the climate we have in winter and climate we have in this. So today, we have some weak point about pest and disease control, but in the opposite side, we have today a new innovation, new varieties, and it's unbelievable how we have new rootstocks are coming, new varieties. So there is a real opportunity for growers today to catch up new varieties and to develop tolerant scab varieties. And more than scab, we are today more tolerant to disease, pest and disease varieties. And rootstock like G11, for example, and other ones, which are much more adapted to the soil fatigue. We have also this concern of soil fatigue because we have small areas in Georgia. And then, as you said, Shukrab, that's about secure the harvest today with hail nets. Yes, also we have to secure also for the retailer. We have to provide every year the same quality, the same quantity, more or less. So yes, we have to. Today, it's not in Eastern Europe, also in Central Asia. We have to cover orchards. Only one exception again, it's Azerbaijan. I try to convince my client to put net, but after 10 years without hail, I have to say that it's certainly not valuable. About grower environment, so whatever the situation, I know investment is high if you want to reach standard today, standard of productivity, standard of quality. Whatever organic or not, organic as well is competitive market today. So investment is almost $50,000 per hectare. If I count all irrigation, machinery, trees, hail nets, 1 year cropping before the first incomes, I said the $50,000.
A bit more in our case.
So yes. A bit more.
In our case.
So I think there is no big difference today between the countries. Also in Europe, the French today also invest this amount of money. So it's costly. About credit access, well, we have credit access today more or less everywhere. From different manner, but there is some solution to help orchard because all politics in these countries wants to develop a fruit sector because for employment, for rural development. So just I want to say in Uzbekistan it's a bit shady. The credit is not so certainly we have a good point here in Georgia where we have certainly better solutions. About the workforce, this is very important. I remind you that to crop an apple trees, orchards, 1 hectare request 700 to 800 hours of work per hectare for 50 tons. It's a huge amount of laborers. And so the cost of labor is more or less the same in all these areas from Eastern Europe or Caucasus countries. Maybe a bit cheaper in Uzbekistan, but it's not $1 or $1.5 will not make the difference if I compare the price in the Europe where it is $10 or $12 in Western countries. So let's say there's no big difference on that topic. But where there is a big hole, a big lack, a big shortage, it's about extension services and grower organization. Alors, it's true that I went to Georgia 2 years ago, so I don't know exactly today the status, and I hope you are progressing on this way, because all these countries has the same weak point. They are individual, they have an individual approach with retailers, and that's a human way to do. Huh? But anyway, today everybody is still very weak about these 2 points. And in Azerbaijan, they start this year a very big operation to gather products in storage to reach Russian market. But it's just maybe the beginning of the organization. But here we are very weak, and I strongly believe that extension service must be to develop our capability to reach new markets. So on that point, so as I said, maybe better credit access and significant subsidies for capital expenses in Georgia. I discussed this point with Christophe Cordonnier yesterday. That's key, because when we have to finance $50,000 per hectare and a grace period of 3 years, but if we don't have a strong financing behind, there is no development possible. So it's a key. And well, there is, I said, the desire to develop extension service. We introduced my speech on this topic. So if it's a mindset of people, I know that today in Azerbaijan, it's very difficult to share together, to make group of growers, to be confident, to achieve a trust between the consultant and the growers. So, but if I see in Georgia, certainly we are much more ready to work together, and I think this is key for the future. But we are also closer to the Europe, so I see also certainly more. It's easier certainly to have some to access to new technologies, to travel, and also to get new ideas. Last point is about market orientation and quality mark. I just would like to highlight in this slide that it's true that we have a very weak domestic market. Also in Moldavia, it's for 4 million people also in Moldavia, like in Georgia. And that not help the development. That's true. That's when we have a strong internal domestic market, it's help a lot the growers. Also to sell the second class and so on. In Uzbekistan, I have to say that they have a very strong market, domestic market. There are close to 35 million consumers, and the price for apple is $1, $1.5 in Tashkent for quality, for let's say very medium, even poor quality. So it's a big advantage in Central Asia for Tashkent area to have this domestic market strong. All these markets are all Russian-oriented. All, even in Moldavia, Azerbaijan, still 85% of fruit and vegetables go to Russia. They try in Azerbaijan also to develop market in the Gulf countries, to Maldives, I think also to the Pacific, Asia Pacific area. But it's the local countries. It's 3 days truck to reach Karachi, something like this in Pakistan. So it's tough for them to go out to do exports. About quality marks. So yes, I remember we have met GAP when in the Surab orchard. So I don't know today in Georgia. Certainly there's more GAP growers. But there is no gap today in Azerbaijan, despite my recommendation to get some sign of quality and this. And the first gap we just achieved in Uzbekistan was 1 month ago. They get certification. But let's say in average, there is no big development of quality because the Russian markets don't ask anymore sign of quality. And they are all oriented for the Russian market. But what is coming today, because there is a big development of apple production in Russia, it's true that we have to find another market and develop sign of quality. So about the markets, so it's true that we have a big advantage in Georgia, that we have a direct access to Black Sea, at least to export apples. It's not the case for Azerbaijan, and also better closeness to the Europe and Gulf countries. So in conclusion, I could say that also I want to say, because about 2 days of to attend to this forum, I would like to remind to all participants that Apple sector, anyway, it's a very competitive market. We should know that it's a product we can store at least during 1 year. We can travel from the South Hemisphere to the North Hemisphere. We can carry apple from the US, from Europe, from China. So it's a very competitive market. And many countries surrounding Georgia have good agronomic conditions as well for growing apple trees, and they are still developing. So we have to be good. we have to be good on this production. We have to be professional. We have to achieve. I said that we have to improve our competitiveness. I hope today we have our child reaching the 45, 50 tons, even if for organic farming. 1 month ago, I met a French grower, well-known French grower, 120 hectares of apple trees in the Loire Valley. He has 30 hectares in organic farming and the rest in IPM management with all certification needed today in France. And organic orchards, the average productivity is 55 tons. 55 tons. And when he has alternate bearing, it is 45. Wow. Okay, 45, 55 tons. Okay, and today, as I forgot your name, sorry, about Carrefour.
Jean-Marc.
Oui, Jean-Marc, sorry, Jean-Marc. And today, when you said, okay, look about our price, even our filière qualité Carrefour price per kilo is above organic. It's a big, I think it's a big sign. It's a big alarm, big signal. And today, the French growers as well. So yes, there is some niche, there is some small markets for sure. We have growers have to take this chance, this opportunity to develop some niche, but the market to reach today, European market, Gulf markets, whatever organic or IPM, you have to be competitive. And this to be competitive, it's certainly by better extension services. So as understood, I'm very involved in this topic, and I would be glad to have a pilot today. I'm doing a pilot of extension services in Uzbekistan, and I hope one day to be able to extend this pilot. I'm really thinking about a pilot because when we are French, we have some ideas. Okay, I was from the Chamber of Agriculture, so I have an idea very clear. It's not easy, it's not difficult to provide services. But no, when we are in Central Asia or in Georgia, no, it doesn't work like this. So since 10 years, I try to develop a good system to build a trust with growers, to make saving first, because they want to make saving to achieve quality, to be in permanent contact with them. And when this pilot will be ready in Uzbekistan, I hope also to extend to other countries. So thank you for your attention. And if you have some question, I would be glad to answer you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's now we start questions and answers. Hopefully, sometimes the questions are more important than the answers for everyone. So please, you tell us who wants to start. But meanwhile, I again abuse of my position, and just a small question to Fabian. Fabian, a lot of the consultants coming, they're seeing the private sector. When we are talking, for example, about the wine sector, we're interested. nobody's talking anymore about the productivity per hectare in the wine sector. Nobody cares about that. We say the opposite. We say, no, forget about 15 tons per hectare, forget about 10 tons per hectare, let's put into 5, 7, 8, and quality. And in the apple sector, all of you are talking, no, we are going to be able to reach 50 or 45. And it is a disaster if we don't manage to get to 50 tons per hectare. And at the same time, we are seeing that we are mainstreaming the varieties. When I came here to Georgia 8 years ago, you would go to any small place here in Tbilisi, and you could find 7 or 8 varieties of apples. You're finding much less now. So we are mainstreaming some of these commercial varieties. And my question to you is, don't you think that we are proposing some of the mistakes that we did in Europe 25 years ago when we are coming back to organic quality, shorten value chains, buy to your neighbor, buy organic, package it nicely? Don't you think that we are giving sometimes a little bit of a wrong advice to developing countries? And the second one is to you, Fabian. I'm just being a bit, the place that you work and the company you have is called Eco Fruit Council. You have not mentioned the word ecologic production in the food, only in the end of your production. But when you were linking it to the productivity.
Eco fruit, could be economic, could be also
okay, that could
be. This is why it was it's good because Eco Fruit Council, it's food security. It's a matter. Huh? It's all my everywhere I go, I start to explain well food security. It's a duty. It's something very, very important. So. Then I always have an economical approach with business plans. So when somebody wants to invest in this in apple trees, we have to prove it's a valuable investment. And as all investors, when we go in this field, we would like to have a return, let's say 7, 8 years, not more than 10 years. Okay, or if not, you can go to other businesses. And it's true that we face a compromise about the investors, because farmers are investors one day. When they invest this amount of $50,000 per hectare, how to get return on this investment? If I do a model based on 7 tons per hectare or 10 tons per hectare with no capability to reimburse the debt or no return, there is no business. So we have to find this compromise between investment and return on investment. And it's true that today below 40 tons, below 45 tons, let's say, we will be kind with the potential market we can achieve. Let's say below 25 tons would be, I think it's difficult to get reimbursement, to get a return on your investments. So I did this business plan in many countries, even in China, because I'm also involved in not since 2 years, but I was very involved with Chinese growers 3 years ago. So we have this problem. So, and again, organic farming started strong 20-30 years ago now in the Europe. It's true that it changed a lot last 10 years. We had big increasing of organic farming, and today it become also competitive. And today, growers in Europe, if you didn't achieve 35-40 tons of products, it will not be able to. It's not sustainable. So we have to pay. But there is opportunities. Each growers have opportunities to develop, let's say, small markets. With a retailer, and there is also there is not only one market, there are several markets. But when we have to speak about the potential of Georgia to sell apple, to reach market in the Europe or to think something else than Russia, to Gulf countries, or could be we speak about Kurdistan with Christophe yesterday. We have to be competitive. We have to propose a good price and a good product.
Thank you.
But quality first. I'm okay. Quality first. Quality first. quality first. Today,
quality first,
better to have 25 tons first class than 50 tons for processing. You know, let's on that way.
This is another element that to me is interesting, Fabian. Very often when we are having discussions with the different banks, IFIs, they tell us, no, we need to add value. And what I'm always saying is that you're not going to find more value than the fresh quality.
And the value kilo of apple is nothing, because the value for the growers is how many dollars per hectare value. So 50 tons by $0.5 is better than 10 tons by $3 or $2. Sorry. So at the end of the day, the growers need turnover per hectare to pay his expenses and capital expenses. So it's true that in the market, we always match, okay, it's 2 euros per kilo, it's 1.5 euros per kilo, but doesn't matter for the growers. You need $30,000 per hectare. This is more or less 25, how much you want per hectare. $30,000, it's good per hectare.
Okay, Christophe, I guess you want to say something? I know, and have Zviad later. Huh?
I think you have the privilege to say something at the end.
Okay, Zviad, please.
That's what I want to say is I'm learning a lot today, so I'm very happy. Huh?
Thank you.
Zviad.
Oh, thank you. So I have questions to Fabian. Production issue. So, what do you think? Which varieties will be prospective? Because we almost talk about of the varieties, especially for the new varieties. But you know very well that during the last 2 decades, a lot of the so-called very prominent and very prospective varieties is coming and then disappearing. Can you advise, in your opinion, which variety can be prospective? This is the first question. Another question: for accepting new varieties for the Georgia, like apple sector, we have one of the big problems, like bottlenecks, that almost only varieties, this is a club apples. So how you are seeing that we can overcome this issue? Because you know that there is type of deterrents. So it will be very interesting to go to your opinion about these 2 things. Thank you.
Okay,
it was
so
a great presentation. Thank
would
you.
be
Especially for the comparison.
No, it would be a good question for Jean-Sébastien Berger. But about the clubs first, today the editors, when they have good varieties, they show there's good varieties to potential growers in the world. So they invited big Italian organization, big French like Bruel organization, and they already hook some varieties before existing. You know, even if they could finance. So it become a club because very early they chosen a variety during the experimental test. Okay, but there is thousands of varieties, thousands of good varieties, promising varieties. There is thousands. As said Jean-Sébastien Berger, they have 20,000 cultivars in test today in IFO. And when I go there each year to visit the varieties, there is tons of good varieties. Just need to find a group of growers who believe in it. They want to develop it, because you know a project is not something not gonna drop from the sky. If you go to visit the breeders, or could be Italian breeders or French breeders, whatever, we have several good nurserymen and breeders in Europe. And I can tell you the story of Angelis, because I was very involved with Angelis pearls development with growers. We can speak about Honeycrisp, which was very difficult to start. Also some Pink Lady, you know, Pink Lady at the beginning, it was a headache for growers. So all these club, all these good varieties succeeded only because a group of growers chosen it and strongly believe that this variety is our variety, and it matched with our idea of the apple in Georgia. It could be tolerant to disease, less pesticides, adapt to our climates, not sensitive to frost, many criteria. And then only a good marketing, the desire to develop a variety will come true after it's minimum 5 years, 10 years of work. And I don't have example where growers didn't achieve their goal. It takes 5-10 years, but Pink Lady now it's a great success. Even if this variety is not, it's very sensitive to pest and disease. There's many good points, but today, Pink Lady is a great success for the growers. Angeli Spurs, today growers earn at least close to €1 per kilo. It's also the second best varieties in the Europe. We have also Jazz. All these varieties was the result of a group of growers very involved in their development. So there is some clubs. Don't run after the clubs. There's many other varieties interesting. Today I can speak about. We have Story no Red. Story no Red could be a good one for you in Georgia. We have Galice today, Inogo, a new one, also very tolerant to pest and disease, very productive, very sweet. We have tons of good varieties. We have Juliette, COP 39, also organic, very developed in organic farming with high yield, no biannual bearing. Also, it's a key point today. Grower-friendly variety. These varieties not sensitive to alternate bearing. So we can choose some key point: pest and disease tolerance, quality, and what else? Grower-friendly varieties about pruning, canopy management, fruit thinning, and so on. And let's go, I want to say. But you are welcome to visit the breeders. And there is for sure in the field, let's say, I'm sure there is minimum 5 to 10 varieties which match with what you want to develop. But you have to choose. You should not leave them propose you something. You have to choose what you want. This is very important.
It's difficult, Fabien, sometimes to choose from things that you have never seen before. That's one of the problems we see. And another element is that you're talking about mainly varieties which are privately and subject to royalties. And what is the opportunity for many of these breeders to get, to be paid by royalties? This we are seeing in several of the food sectors, and even if Georgia is part of FinExCoop and things like that, this is how you can ensure a little bit your copyright. We're working a lot with the Scientific Research Center also on this element.
I have enough experience with breeders to tell you that first of all, is that when they have invested in the new varieties, if these varieties stay in their field, they will not earn nothing. Okay, so they have also to promote their development. And when they have in front of us a group of growers organized, when they have in front of us a group of growers with this desire to develop one variety, everything is possible. So I speak about royalty, about trees, or I think no. It's the beginning is a group of growers motivated to develop something big for a country. So for sure, if you go for 10 hectares, you will not achieve whatever with the nurseryman. But if you go to develop something for, let's say, 10,000 tons markets, it could be 100 hectares or 200 hectares. For sure, I can tell you will have a good talk with the nurseryman, and you can.
Thank you.
Hope to see you. Hope to see you in France, for example. But
Suraj and Mark, I think we are running a little bit of time, but or Christophe, or any other, I don't see any more questions. It's interesting for us to meet the discussion. Suraj and Mark, anything else you want to?
It was
I will be glad to go to do something in Georgia soon.
Very good.
Find some time to visit us as well.
Yeah, it's not. I have to fly a lot of time above Tbilisi, but
once you're in Tbilisi, please find time to visit us.
Okay, sure, promise.
Very good, Christophe. I hand it over to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, dear Javier. First of all, thanks a lot to all. It is a semi-final word. The final will be given by Rafael. And so, first of all, let me thank everybody. For me, it has been a very interesting conference. It has been very well organized. So thanks to my team, to Lola, to Maya, to Tika, to Tornike, and to all the members of the team who have organized virtually without any support from myself, because I was very busy on other topics, this conference. So I think it is the first key element. We made it. Second, I think that we have the Turkish team, obviously, who was supporting also from remote, Dilruba and Ufuk in particular. Sorry if I missed some names. Dilara, Lola is giving me all the names, because really it was an organization largely without me, and it is so comfortable for team leader to see that his team can deliver without him. I think that there are three key conclusions from this forum. First of all, Georgia has the capacity to produce much more apples, both for its domestic market, which can increase tremendously, and for exports, owing to its perfect locations at crossroads. I mean, Georgia has the benefit of having the best access to so many countries in the world. I mean, I don't know of any country with so many free trade agreements, or easy access to the EU market, the CFTA, to the CIS market. It's a big plus, especially now it's a big plus with Russia because of the embargo, but it's a big plus to countries like Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan. All these countries have their internal market, which can be supplied by Georgian products. And obviously, Georgia has free trade agreement with China, with Hong Kong, and we see a very big push towards the south. And I fully support the strategy of Zurab to go south, because these are large importing markets with high financial capacity. So I was speaking with Fabien about Kurdistan. Kurdistan, for instance, for the meat sector, Iraq, Kurdistan, it is where you have oil, and so there is a big capacity to buy, and it is close by truck. Jean-Marc knows very well this from Carrefour, because Carrefour Majid Al Futurim is present in all these countries. So first of all, we need to produce more, and to climb the ladder from 3 to 50, maybe not to 50, but even if it was 10, we would easily triple the production without increasing the acreage. And if you increase the production and the value from your orchard, people will want to plant more. So definitely, I think that we are at the beginning of an apple revolution similar to the one Fabien experienced 10 years ago in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan now, apples, it is, even though they are mainly oriented towards oil and gas. I was 2 weeks ago there advising the Ministry of Agriculture. We have nearly $300 million of export of fruit in Azerbaijan. And apples themselves, it is around $50 million trade surplus, so more than around 5 times Georgian. So more output is critically important. Together with more output, we need better output. So we need fruit with a better caliber, better capacity for conservation, and they were fundamentally all the issues highlighted by Zurab in his presentation. And obviously we need fruit, and Jean-Marc, I follow you 100% on that, fruit which are not full of pesticides. I remember visiting one orchard, I will not tell what orchard, a modern orchard in Georgia, with Mark, and we ate apples, and Mark has a sensitivity of lips. We said, he said, these apples are burning my lips. Why? Because they are full of pesticides. Huh? So we need definitely to enter into an EU approach of agrarian development, which means less pesticide and consistent quality and food safety. And I think that the integration process of Georgia into the EU will contribute massively to this aim, knowing that when you are able to export to the EU, you are able to export to the moon, because we have the most stringent food safety standards on Earth. Okay. I would like to revert to Javier. Javier has a strong point. I mean, we are switching from a commodity-driven world to, there will be still a commodity-driven. We know that emerging countries mean emerging consumption of better value food, less sweet, more fruit, more meat. So there is an underlying pattern in the world, which means that we will have a need for more, but we have also very much a need for better, not only in terms of food safety, but you want to eat, when you are eating a fruit, you are eating now in France, you are eating a dream also, and you are eating a terroir. Huh? And in this field, the chance of Georgia is to have both excellent terroirs and also a capacity to build on its very successful wine strategy, which has been based on Georgian specifics. We need to have a brand of Georgian Caucasian, where we are working very much on this, for instance, with Carrefour for lamb, where we are trying to promote a Georgian lamb of the Caucasus. But we need also to promote this specific dimension of each production, and especially, and I very much appreciated the presentation of David, because from day one, the concept of David is I sell organic cider to tourists who will visit my, who will be hosted in my place. And so this combination of factors between tourism and highly specific products is a very big chance of Georgia. I remind you that in 2019, there were 6 million tourists in Georgia. It is nearly twice the total number of Georgian population. This is definitely a sector where we can be confident for the future. But as it has been very well explained by all the participants, the constraint is not credit or finance. All the investors have been able to mobilize a very efficient mechanism of support designed by government of Georgia since 2012, an ideal one, with by far the most developed banking sector in all the region. So credit is not an issue. Land is an issue because there is no real land market in Georgia, and there is definitely, this is something for which AFD is very proactive. I would say that everybody is afraid of touching the land issue here except AFD, so congratulations, Raphael. And AFD is trying to promote a French model of land management, which was designed in the 60s with great success, which led to soft and efficient consolidation of land in the hands of the best farmers. So it's, I think we can be confident that with this cooperation, Georgian authorities and Georgian society at large will be able to unlock this land potential, because there is no scarcity of land. There is scarcity of land for good users. And therefore, the key bottleneck is men, human workforce. And in this respect, it's clear for everybody that what has been done until now by government of Georgia with support from donors and development of state extension has probably reached its limits, and that there is a need for diversified sectors of system of extension involving private stakeholders, but not the ones who are selling the pesticides, because today private extensionists, most private extensionists depend on the suppliers of pesticides who have not a genuine interest to promote less consumption of pesticides. We need to have really independent extensionists like you, Fabien, like you, Marc, who will be trusted by their clients because of their professionalism and also their business ethics, because their goal is not to sell more of products, but to sell the best technical solutions for their clients, farmers. In this respect, I'm very proud of FinExCoop, and I'm very proud of you, Marc, of you, Fabien, who contributed to this, and all the team. I mean, Zurab, thanks a lot for your very good words when you spoke of star consultant. And I'm very thankful also to FAO, because we in FinExCoop, we have limited resources. Marc, for instance, has been recruited by FAO in parallel from FinExCoop. And this is a very concrete case of perfect coordination between donors. So we try to open the road, and we want the road to be developed largely by others, because we don't have the financial resources which allow us to. I know that Raphael is very keen also to build on these success stories in his new large-scale Zemosangori project. And definitely, I think that today's conference shows that we have a very solid basis for that. So we see a big potential for future. We see a big potential for future with this new generation. Georgie, you are representative, very good representative of. And in the near future, our main aim will be to consolidate what we learned in this conference into a plan of action within FinExCoop, because we have still 8 months to run. And for instance, the consolidation of supply through farmers group we have organized in Meteo Station is very important, and we will do it. But we see also a very large potential for enlarging the scope with a new programmatic approach of FD. And in parallel, we will try to replicate the project we have for small remnants in Georgia, financed by Ministry of Finance of France, together with MEPA, in piloting research and experimental and training centers, orchards, for which we could test these various varieties and see what variety is the best adapted to the Georgian context. If we don't make this test in the field, it will remain worse. So this is definitely something we have to do, and we have very much to work in this field with Zviad and his team, and to make research the piloting element for long-term strategy of the country. So once again, thanks to all of you. Thanks to have taught me so much during these 2 half days. We will have this afternoon the possibility to keep on working together if you go to the field with us in Gori region to see the meteo stations. And I hand over the last word to Raphael from FD.
Thank you, Christophe. You can hear me, right? And I'm very honored to be ending this conference. As you mentioned, the quality of the presentations and of the discussions is here. It's striking, and I thank you, Zurab and Fabien, Javier, and all other participants for and Jean-Marc, of course, for this last session, but for the quality of the talks. Yes, I think that I also want to thank the FinExCoop team, and I think the conference is a good demonstration of the quality of the work that you have been doing during several years. Yes, you have 8 months ahead, and I'm definitely buying your proposal for building this action plan. You have been developing the pilots, mobilizing the expert, the skills, understanding the gaps and challenges. You have some recommendations, both technical, financial, on the table, highlighting the opportunities and risks. Then yes, we have an asset, and this is how I opened the conference in the introductory session, that we have an asset with FinExCoop. And beyond FinExCoop is the network of actors that have been built around FinExCoop. And it's not only FinExCoop, is more than AFD, is more than EU. It's of course your good relationship with FAO, of course USAID is here, the Mercy Corps, and so on. I need to connect my computer because, sorry, just low battery. Then yes, then and we spoke about Apple during those 2 days, but it's clear that we will not make Georgia an Apple field, right? But we need to take the opportunities brought by Apple, and it was clearly underlined. And thank you, Fabien, for this broad perspective on the region. It's very interesting, and perspective on Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Moldova, and as they are all part of the same markets, it was extremely relevant. And then we are not speaking only about Apple, but the conclusions of the conference are also valid for some other value chains. And I think that this conference per se must be used also for a broader perspective on agriculture, and I thank you for that. As a development bank, as AFD, then what should be done? Yes, I will be reading your action plan, and I hope we will be building on it. But I think that for 4 years, AFD has been implementing this project, and it must say that it is not the core business of AFD and the only instrument that AFD can bring. There are some other instruments we can actually activate, and this is the intention: continuing, but also activating some other instruments. We know about the policy-based loan and the good relationship with the Ministry of Finance and technical ministries for supporting the institutions and policies. Then we want and we will be implementing these instruments. Of course, the support to investments, irrigation, water management. We spoke about public investments here, meteorological stations, of course, I mean, and so on. And also as a group with Proparco support the private investments. This is to scale up, but what is important, and it is clearly what you said, is not only a matter of money. Continuing the technical assistance program to work with actors and a various group of actors working along the value chain will be definitely a must. And this is what we want to do in the Yuri River Basin as a pilot territory. And we see how much Apple, and it was clearly underlined in the introduction, and also later, Apple is one of the value chain that could be developed. Then I want to underline also the coordination challenge and what AFD can bring for it. I think that there is a need for coordinating the development partners, definitely also building on the relationships that you have been building within the FinExCoop projects. And I'm really impressed once more by the working relationship that you have been developing with FAO, with AEU, with the USAID and Mercy Corps and others, all committed to Georgian development. But the synergies that we can bring also on the table is the synergies among Georgian partners, Georgian actors. And I think, and I just came out from a meeting with the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Nino Tandilashvili, and she underlined how much we work for making Georgian actors work together. And she gave the example of the Water Resources Management Project with the NEA, Land Management Agency, GA, Georgian Amelioration, MEPA, and farmers, how we make people work together and work in synergies. One of the key elements here, and the question mark is about the ambition, and during the conference, and also what is happening in Georgia, I think we will, in the coming weeks, have some answers. Is about the ambition of Georgia. And we understand that they have clearly accelerated the process for its candidacy to EU membership. And I hope and I believe that the road will be clearly open for the candidacy, and there will be some implications for that. And then as another next step that has to be done is working with MEPA, working with EU delegation and George Deu, who made the great presentation that was underlined yesterday by Gela Khanishvili. What are the implications of going to Europe, and how those implications, which are somehow some constraints, but are listening to Fabien, especially today, are also some leverage, some opportunities, not only for accessing to finance. Then this is what will be also coming in the coming days, is discussing with EU and MEPA, and have EU, us, and development partners and MEPA work together and define the implications for Georgian agriculture, and we can take the case and your action plan that you will be sending soon, Christophe, to demonstrate, yes, what it means technically, concretely. Yes, the last word is the decision makers. I think that in the last weeks, and we experienced that when you take the decision makers and top officers who have much of their work actually in their office or in Tbilisi, when you bring them to the field, when you bring them to France or to Europe, understanding how it works, there is a clear difference. There is a clear difference, and I thank you, Christophe, for bringing this perspective of the field, of practitioners who have this ability to develop projects, give some advices, demonstrate what has been done and how it is done in France, that transfer some know-how, technologies. This is clearly what they need, what they are requesting, and Christophe and I, we will go to France with some top officials next week. We'll be meeting some of the participants today. And this is also, and we are also planning a visit of France and Belgium on the food waste with the FAO. I mean, this is really needed. It is requested by the decision makers, and I see that there is this great synergy ongoing on the sector now in Georgia, and it's very timely to be working and preparing and developing things together. Thank you very much. Congratulations, first of all, and not only for this Apple conference. I think more broadly for the FinExCoop project itself. And when I speak about FinExCoop, it's not only the team FinExCoop, it's the concept, bringing all people together, Georgian, Europeans, and others around the table, finding solutions and building some action plan and roadmap for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rafael, Christoph, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Rafael, for your very nice words and inspiring ones at the same time. Jansu, I think that you have the privilege of you had the privilege of opening and you have the privilege of closing.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think in these 2 days we hosted some very interesting conversations. So thank you, everyone. And I'd like to close the forum. I'd like to remind that for the interested participants, we have a field visit to Apple Orchard. I believe you already have been informed. So yes, on behalf of the FinExCoop team, I'd like to thank you for your time and hope to see you again. Bye.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support.
Before you leave, you can please take a screenshot of our event if it's okay for you.
Sorry.
Can we? Okay, shall we? I'm taking. Smile, please. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye. See you soon. See you soon, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
All right.